Hey guys, this is Ranchin here bringing you a StarCraft commentary. I have Deja Vu alongside me today to bring you the first set between Free and HiyA on Fighting Spirit today. Gonna get colors and position that away before I start chatting along. The upper left hand position, the 11 o'clock, we're gonna have the blue Protoss Free. Bottom right hand position, we're gonna have HiyA and what I believe to be yellow, of course, as the turn player. So done with the rest of the stuff. We've had some epic matchups here and there. Altogether, good stuff. Really looking like a promising round of 8, despite the massive, boring, dear God, I want to go to sleep already, TVT macro fest that was Flash versus MVP. But I still feel that was altogether good stuff, good games, and I'm going to get some quick syncing done. 38, 39, 40. So, Deja, what are your thoughts on the matchup here? We got this Protoss sniper HiyA here, of course, and playing up against Free, who's been really revitalizing his career lately, I feel. So I think I'm going to give him a good chance to beat HiyA here. What are your thoughts?
You know, I think this is going to be a fantastic game. You look at these two guys, HiyA and Free. They're both playing very, very well overall. Both of them, for the past month or two, have been getting a lot of wins in Pro League and definitely here in the MSL as well. I think both of them are out of the OSL already. And like you said, HiyA is really, really good versus Protoss. He's been that way pretty much since he came onto the scene. I always remember him from last year in the Pro League. He was always really good on Coliseum and Coliseum 2. It was always a map that was usually favored for Protoss, but for some reason HiyA just had a good build on it and was always able to take down Protoss. He was undefeated on that map, beating Stork a couple of times, beat this guy Free here even too. So that was definitely cool to see. We know that HiyA can definitely beat Free. He's 1-2 so far against Free in their career. Free actually winning 2 games in WCG Korea last year, I believe. I believe that was last year. But you know, it's sometimes questionable how seriously some of the Koreans really take the WCG tournaments. Some of them, you know, it doesn't really count for their teams and or for money, so it's just a pride thing. And I don't know how much necessarily Free was really too worried about that, but definitely Free is really good at this matchup as well, and we have the potential for a really long game. If you look at this, this is Fighting Spirit, cross positions, TVP, rush distances is going to be so hard. You know Terran, you know HiyA is going to play this smart and probably not going to be pushing too much until he probably gets some upgrades, until he feels really confident. I don't think we're going to see any pushes out from HiyA early on just because of the rush distances, so I think that we could be in for a big time macro fest, which is always fun to watch TVP, at least I think so. I love watching MacroFest PVTs.
Yeah, it's good stuff overall. I think HiyA might just try to stave off Free for a while, get his macro going, get that one fac into Expo going, then maybe slowly get his army up, and then go for a 2-1 push, to weapons to armor 1 push. I think that would be the safest bet for him. Try to go in there. And I've seen those pushes be very effective. I've seen Midas utilize those pushes extremely effectively. Just always catching his opponents off guard and kind of ripping into them and really doing a great job. HiyA, meanwhile, not going to be able to get the scout off. It might manage to barely sneak by the... Oh, no. Not going to manage to quite yet. Zealot. Oh, still... Oh, barely managed to sneak by the Zealot.
Free fail.
Wow. Still going to... Oh, I see he doesn't really get the scout, though. Not going to spot the Seminary's Core spitting. I'm assuming that's just going to be range. No fake out starting off the sword. So, no scout. But on the opposite side, not going to be any scout either. So, Free most likely going to have to go for Observatory to get some scout in there and get an expansion alongside. I'm expecting some fast expanding for Free. He's a guy, he really lately has been playing against Terran, kind of a heavy expansion build. He goes for that base, natural expansion, then tries to expand to a third base real quickly, and it is very comfortable on Fighting Spirit to try to expand towards that 12 o'clock position, try to pick that up for himself. We're going to see what he decides to go with it. But he does not tend to do, I've seen him do that, but he does not a player that feels the need to go for early averages. We're not going to move out, push out with this one single Dragoon, going to be able to put on some pressure, but I don't really think he's going to be able to penetrate this wall at all, though, even despite the fact that a Zealot's going to come up here to reinforce.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to be a nuisance right now until that tank comes out. You see this a lot in PVT. Just try to be annoying, just trying to annoy the supply depot, make a couple SCVs come out. But once that siege tank shows up, as it just did, he's going to have to back off here. And I think Free knows what's coming as well. I'm thinking he's pretty confident that it's a siege expand. We see the second Nexus already going down at the natural, and I think you're right that we're going to see a very, very quick third. I think he's going to stick around a little bit just to make sure that that command center comes up. and as soon as he sees that command center lifted, I think we'll see him safely take a third base over there at that 12 o'clock position. He is going for Robo, and yeah, I think you're spot on. I think this is just going to be for observers. He wants to know if maybe a 4-fact timing push, something like that, is coming his way. So he's going to get that observer out as early as possible, maybe try and beat some of the later missile turrets. You see one missile turret coming up right now. Actually, it looks like a second one as well. But he's going to try and get an observer in there while there's still holes in the gap, and just make sure that he gets to see the factory counts. I think that's really the important thing right now. He's getting up a second gateway as well for free, so I think he's just going to be playing pretty standard. This is pretty good play so far by both these guys, just playing the map. I don't think either one of them is really looking for a push right now, which is the correct way to play this at this point. The command center is going to go and land at the natural expansion, and he's got a couple siege tanks already prepared there, so he's going to be pretty safe here against any sort of reasonable push that would come his way, which is a good spot for HiyA right now. And really, we got to watch the factory count, watch for a starport, see what strategy HiyA is going to do here. If he's going to go for harassment, we could see a couple more factories come down, see a little bit of vulture spam, along with that machine shop would be spinning as well. Or he could also go for a starport build. Both of those would be the ways that we'll see HiyA going for a sort of harassment if that's what we're going to be seeing. And for free, like you said, just going for an observatory, going to get that third base up pretty soon.
Yeah, really liking how some turn players these days, Midas, I always feel like I'm using Midas as an example these days. Guys impress me like crazy. But the Wii made Terrans, I guess you could say, Midas and Baby in particular, against Protoss have been utilizing vultures extremely well. I mean, of course, HiyA not of the same ilk, not the same type of turn player, but you definitely look at how effective those guys have been, and you might want to, get yourself inspired a little bit. I mean, if you're going to get inspired by a player, Flash and the Wii made Terrans, I think, are the guys to be inspired by right now. Citadel of Doom coming up here at the upper left-hand corner, way up there for free, so probably just going to transition into good old standard armory on the bottom right position, so there are going to be upgrades on the way. So for HiyA, just try to keep up, try to get that armor advantage, and also we're gonna see whether they're actually gonna get forced. I'm not expecting any sort of Goliath stuff here, but of course you're gonna need those eventually when the arbiters come out. Probably gonna be seeing the third expansion coming up soon. Not expecting any sort of insane Stargate early arbiter thing, because I really don't think it's necessary. I really think it's just going to take him too long to get him properly going to make it effective at this point. He doesn't really have enough of an army to really support. I've seen some Protoss players try to go for an early arbiter and just basically with a very small army, control group and a half maybe, and go and try just to utilize the cloaking, but I just don't feel it's quite enough. I think you need an arbiter with energy. I think you need some stasis field, some recalls. It is going to be actually, oh man, just as I say that, prove wrenching wrong day today. Stargate and Temple Archives coming up, and HiyA going to be the one that expands the second time right off the bat. Academy on the way, so he's going to have some scans in there. Observatory actually being forced back to the turrets, so it's really good for HiyA. He doesn't, I think he actually knows at this point, just how with his turrets, he knows that he's preventing those observers to coming in. Might still manage to find a hole. At the very least, should spot the command center if nothing else. But good position overall for HiyA. He's put up a lot of turrets all over the place. Wow, tongue-tied. Pushing all those observers back, and 3 observers already out there, and they're not quite managed to get inside of HiyA's base. Although HiyA, I think, as soon as his comm stations are up, he should be able to go in and scan that Arbiter Tribunal, or at the very least his Stargate coming up.
Yeah, this is going to be very important at the 6 o'clock position, how well HiyA can defend that base. He's got a decent tank count right now, but his Vultures count is still pretty low. He doesn't really have all the upgrades for it. He's got mines, but no speed yet. We do see some mines going down there towards the 6 o'clock position to try and defend it. And the thing is that once that Arbiter comes out, the 2-base Arbiter play is going to be really good at fending off, or at least putting a whole lot of pressure on a quick third by a Terran player. So HiyA's going to need a good wall there, whether I think an engineering bay and 2 supply depots would probably block off that ramp. You might be able to do it with just 3 supply depots, something like that. But yeah, he's definitely going to need a pretty solid block here, as well as some tanks behind in order to defend this. And Free is going to put a little bit of pressure on right now, already taking down the one of the mines defending. If he had a couple zealots, I think Free could go in there right now, but I think he's going to wait for that Arbiter, get that cloaking up and going, and really start putting some pressure on here. And HiyA just looks, I don't know if he was just really concerned or what that was. That was a weird face from HiyA. His mouth like wide open, like his tongue was almost hanging out there.
He always plays like that.
He does it really well. Yeah. That's pretty funny. But yeah, I think Free is going to have to really do some damage here. I mean, both their bases, their thirds, are going to come up at about the same time. HiyA's is a little bit earlier, which means that Free is really going to have to do something in order to even out the economic impact of these third bases.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing a bunch of factories added in for HiyA, getting his upgrades going. So he's going to get just a huge number of tanks. Free has, of course, smartly pyloned off one of the entrances to his 12 o'clock position, just getting those pylons in there, adding probes in there, getting some High Templar. Not really, haven't seen him very heavy on the Zealot count either, very heavy on the Dragoons. Got to get some High Templar to support those, because Dragoons are going to be able to easily push back any Vulture attacks, but without any serious amount of Zealots, so tanks are going to be a threat, and they're not really that huge a number of tanks so far that you're going to find with very large clumps, but he's going to get some High Templars out there very early, and that means he's going to be able to slowly get those storms in there. One tank actually milling across the middle and getting picked off by those Dragoons. That was the saddest sigh I've ever heard from you ever, Deja Vu. That was like, oh, poor tank. Oh, dear God. Why? But anyway, these Templars are going to be able to get a lot of energy going, so at the very least, they're going to become a very useful asset as the game goes on. Our initial Arbiter is out there, but I'm not quite sure. Free might actually decide to push this in. He is getting some decent army going right now. Has quite a large number of gateways, but I think with the way HiyA is also going to start pumping soon, he's going to be able to set up a nice tank position across the entire line. Has it on his side of the bridge, but as soon as he manages to push across that bridge, he's going to be able to set up a huge line right across it. He's going to be able to cover all the way from his natural expo all the way to his 6 o'clock position, and it's going to be a little bit hard for Free to push in with what he has right now. He's going to need some Zealots with speed. He's going to need a shuttle maybe with some Zealot bombs. He's meanwhile actually going to expand at the 9 o'clock position, try to pick up a quick 4th. I think HiyA is just going to stay on his 3 for a while now, feel safe in that, get his defensive going, getting turrets all over the place, so he's definitely expecting some recalls, probably going to be seeing some mines coming up as well. So if HiyA manages to just stay on these 3 bases, fend off any economic harassment that might come in from Free, I think he's going to be able to sit in pretty and just get his army going.
Yeah, it looks like Free's actually going for a different kind of strategy here. Maybe he's going for the Arbiters just in case there was a sort of timing push coming from HiyA, like a +1 timing push, like a 4-fact or something like that. And that's why he kind of went for the slightly earlier Arbiters, but it looks like he's going to go for more of an economic game here. He's throwing up that 4th pretty early before even starting with any harassment, which is definitely a little bit different. So what's going to be key here is Free's going to have to stop HiyA from ever really getting a 4th, because HiyA off of 3 bases is going to be able to easily max out to 200 and 2-1 push, or even higher if you wanted to. So it's going to be really important that Free stops at 3rd base and keeps a pretty decent contain on HiyA. That's going to be really key for Free, especially to stop marauding Vultures. And I think we see some going across the bottom of the map right now. Then they're going to be trying to pick off probes, stop new bases from coming up, try and beat some of the photon cannons, that sort of thing. That's what these Vultures are just going to try to do. And I think those are hallucinated Arbiters, so we're going to be seeing recall first. This is going to be crazy. Free is going to go for a recall. Now, will he go for the main, go for those factories, or is he going to go for the expansion and try and hit the 3rd? Normally I'd say he's going for the 3rd, but he's splitting up these Arbiters, and I don't know which ones are real, actually. There's 5 Arbiters, and I think there's 2 real ones total, I think. There might only be 1 real one. It's hard to tell for sure right now. But we are seeing Free's first-person view, and here he goes. He's going in, and where is he going to recall? It looks like he's going to go recall the main. These are 2 fake ones in the front here, and he's running into 3 turrets. Looks like one of the hallucinations went down. Second hallucination about to go down. He's going to recall. He already skipped over most of the mines. He's going to recall right on top of the mineral lines, and a couple mines go off, but not doing a whole lot of damage, and doing a pretty good job of there splitting those Zealots out. So all these Dragoons are going to be able to sit here and do a whole lot of damage, picking off the supply. Maybe that was an armory already. Looks like he might have focused down an armory, picking off the science vessel. Maybe almost got the science vessel. Going to get this first armory down for sure. Will he get the second one? This will really hamper HiyA if he loses both armories. He's going to lose one, and he is going to be falling behind on whatever upgrade he was going for. If he was going for a 2-1 timing push like you were suggesting, this is definitely going to set him back, and HiyA is definitely going to be very unhappy with this recall. It didn't do as much damage as it maybe could have, and HiyA has located this base up at the top right with some Vultures, is doing some harassment to it. But still, losing that armory is surprisingly bigger than it might initially seem, just by losing one building. That is pretty significant if it can keep down his upgrade. So that was actually really cool by Free, and it looks like more Arbiters are coming out. This is crazy by Free. I'm really entertained right now. Free is awesome.
Free is awesome. Free's awesome. Free's pretty, as he calls himself. But yeah, four arbiters right now. No idea if any of these are real. I assume at least one of these is real. We see
the top
of
left
course,
one is real.
Of course, showing the first-person view just to make sure that we know that one of these is real. A lot of turrets in there, but he's leading with the fake ones. Gotta try to go for some decent economic harass. This time is always real arbiter also being hit, but the recall gonna come off. SCV coming off the line just in time, but I think not enough mines in there. Some siege tanks. A lot of the dragoons go down though. Wow, but tanks coming in from the right side. So wow, that was just bad. Oh man, hallucinations dying there, and wow, that was just nice foiled recall there by HiyA, moving in with his tanks at just the right time. SCVs, no ACV kills, no damage to the commander, just a delay and a huge loss of troops by Free. So right now he has to keep expanding. I think he still actually managed to get up the upper right hand position despite some damage, and he still has some army across the place, actually adding in more gateways. So he's on 5 bases to HiyA's 3. I think he has some sort of presence there at the 3 o'clock. Not quite sure whether that's a base or what, but it looks like probably just a floating building, maybe an eBay or a barracks. But he's actually going to continue sending out a lot of those vultures, try to do some harassment. I think there are a lot of cannons, actually vultures at that 3 o'clock position, but he's sending out a lot of vultures to be annoying, try to do some economic damage, trying to plan out some mines. Still being forced to play defensively, and you don't really want to be all the time playing a reactionary against a Protoss player. But Ultra, he's done a very good job getting his second army up yet again. Not quite sure where he is on upgrades. He did have weapons 1 last I saw him. His Protoss opponent also at weapons 1. Vulture is gonna get inside the Snyder base, but a lot of cannons. So at the very least, he can maybe get some probe kills, force those probes away, getting a decent number of probe kills, but getting his entire vulture count slaughtered there. But still, HiyA, he's done a good job of fighting back all that harassment, despite the fact that it has been a very large number. So he is going to be thinking of expanding again, most likely up to that 3 o'clock position. A lot of mines that are vultures fighting back those zealots, and generally in a vulture-zealot fight, unless the zealots do this, corner the vultures in, the zealots are going to be able to win. But usually you would see vultures winning, but one single zealot actually can engage a vulture here, and I lose. Okay. But yeah, HiyA just gonna try to pick up the 4th for himself, and he needs to go in. He's just waiting for his upgrades, waiting for his army, and he is eventually gonna go out for a push. Just to be altogether very careful to not run into a huge amount of stasis or some such.
I don't know if HiyA has actually noticed this, but he's got a huge opening right now where these High Templar have Storm and have energy, but they're not in shuttles. That is really important. If he used to go out with Vultures, just go pick off those High Templars, he could easily push north and take this 3 o'clock base, and it looks like he's going to try and push that now. Big stasis going on, catching all of the science vessels. That is huge. Stormers are coming in now. Where are the storms going to fall? There's a big storm on the front tanks. You're going to see some more storm going down on some of the middle tanks as well, but it looks like he's maybe run out of zealots already. It looks like Free was not really completely prepared for this, so he just did not quite have the zealot count. That was a situation. That was such a brilliant stasis that if he had more zealots, if Free was just a little bit more prepared, he could have absolutely steamrolled HiyA right there. The game was that close to ending if there was just another control group or so of zealots. That was so close. But HiyA is going to survive here, keeping most of his tanks alive, and those science vessels, once they pop back out, are going to be really important once again to start EMPing those arbiters. And yeah, it looks like he's going to have a chance here to take the 3 o'clock, but Free is going to fight like the dickens to stop it, and this is going to be a great fight in the next couple minutes. If HiyA can get it up, we will be seeing an extremely long game, and if Free can stop it, we should see a Free victory pretty shortly if he can stop that 3 o'clock.
Yeah, just getting his insane amount of gateways up. I think he added in like 6, the upper right hand, is producing arbiters of 2 star gates at this point. HiyA has quite a few science vessels. He wants to be careful not keeping all of them in one massive clump. I see a lot of turn players do that, and eventually just get all stasis at the same time. But at least if you keep them separate, at least if one science vessel gets stasis, you'll still have some EMPs to utilize against the arbiters and the massive ground troops. Some dragoons actually coming from left side, going to try to do some pick off some maps. Maps? What am I talking about? Mines! Dear God, that was horrible. Pick off some mines, but as soon as they lost observer, they decided to stop that. There was a pylon coming in here at the lower left-hand position. Think maybe Free's trying to pick up a presence there. I think it's a little close to HiyA, but I think it's definitely safer than try to at the upper right-hand position. I think he might actually be picking up the natural expansion there as well. Not altogether sure who's already done that or not. But HiyA really wants to go out and do some damage, not just pick up a base. You might want to transition, try to pick up that 4th for himself at the 3 o'clock position, and transition and going around and do some damage at the upper right. I mean, it's unfortunate for him that Free has a lot of gateways there, so he's going to be able to reinforce that position very easily. He's going to have a large army presence now, but he is pushing slowly north up the ramp, so I think he's trying to slowly push. I'm not quite sure whether he's going to go in and swing to the right side or just going to go straight for the 12 o'clock position. Not a good choice. Is just going to get across the bridges, get his initial tank picked off by the cannons, I'm sorry. but still going to try to push in that. Think Free's going to maybe have enough to push this back as long as he catches HiyA out of position. HiyA actually pushing some of his forces back and leave 3 tanks on top of that to pick off the cannons and maybe go in there pushing back. Actually going to push it, get some of his forces back. I think I've said back like 5 times in the last 5 seconds. But just going to go back home right now and actually move back forward now. And HiyA just confuses me.
Yeah, you know, I think HiyA wants to go for the top right, but it's really difficult for him because there's such a huge Protoss army out in the field that if he pushes too strongly towards the top right, with the reinforcements coming from the top right, you know, you can see a flood of Zealots just coming out there along with some Dragoons. And then you get the sandwich coming in from the side, which is exactly what we looked like we were about to see, but those were just hallucinations. And this has got to be just like a crazy mind game for HiyA. This has to be so annoying for him. He's using these EMPs on Arbiters that aren't even real. He doesn't know what's real. He doesn't know it's fake, but he can't afford to not EMP them. That's the thing. He can't afford to. He has to do something to them, or he just has to hope that he's right. And this is a case where he's just hoping that he's correct. But you know, he's really playing with fire here. And there you go. There now you see the EMP, because if it's not fake, you know, he can really end up being screwing himself over. And now we see Free taking the bottom left as well, just making it so HiyA has so many places to go. Free is taking pretty much every single base on the map, and HiyA has so many places where he needs to engage right now that Free is just hoping to catch HiyA maybe in a bad spot, catch his army out of position, and try and get a big flank or something like that out of him. Free almost losing that Arbiter while going for a ill-advised recall, but here we see him pulling back, and now HiyA is going for a big push on this top right now. How strongly will Free decide to defend this? This is really important to see. If he's going to defend this very, very strongly, we see a couple storms going down here, picking off a couple of tanks. If he comes in for the big engagement from the side and tries to flood out of that base, this would be a critical moment game. Free also has the option, of course, to sack this top right, not devote too much to it, and just take the bottom left and just continue this game in a big, huge macro game. And yeah, this game is actually tactically very, very interesting. It's hard to tell really what either player has to do, just because there's so many options for both of them right now. We see HiyA taking, I think he was even playing a command center at the natural of the top right. So this is just looking more and more like it's just going to end up being a really long macro fest.
Yeah, just with Free taking all those bases across, I think that double base at the lower left hand right there is a little audacious by him, a little bit crazy and zany. HiyA meanwhile just going to pick up the natural at the upper right hand right away and just going to try to siege that position. Doesn't want to push in a lot of gateways, going to be producing some forces to defend this. So Free going to be fighting for this position tooth and nail, has Arbiters to support as well, has High Templars to storm. So anything that tries to go up that ramp might actually get stasis or stormed right there. Oh, nice stasis on the sign. So before the MP get off, one Arbiter going to go in. Oh, get it. One recall off just before it dies. A lot of Dragoons in here. Science will come off, get an EMP right on top of those Dragoons. Going to force back. Vultures are going to be able to take care of these Dragoons. No problem. EMP Dragoons just fall to almost anything. So this 3 o'clock position going to get easily cleaned up. Well, I think just Free can pretty much throw forces out because he probably is maxed out long ago by now. He can just go for these little attacks just to free up some psi for himself, if nothing else. And HiyA just slowly going to push up to the upper right hand. I think he's going to attempt to take up this upper right hand. Might go for something funky like drop in something, but I don't think he's going to go for that. Don't think he's going to try to go for any sort of drop check. Just stick to whatever he has on the ground and slowly but surely push up in dominant position. Already has some tanks among the gateways. Going to start sieging the turrets to start off. Then you can completely ignore the gateways. Just pick off the pylons. But there are still some Zealots and High Templar and Arbiters in the back. Zealot's going to try to run in close to these tanks, but even tanks on the low ground might actually pick off some Zealots. He's still going to manage to pick at least some of these tanks on the high ground. Slowly defend. One D Matrix actually coming off the line as well. But I still think Free doesn't really seem like he's trying to very heartily defend this, because it is a massive tank line that has to take care of then. So I'm not quite sure really how far he's going to try to push this defense, because HiyA seems to be overall controlling a pretty nice portion of the right map, pushing Free back with anything he tries to send in. Has a lot of tanks, even though he gets a little bit stormed, a little damaged here. He keeps up his army count, keeps up his vulture count, pushes everything back that Free tries to send him. And I think if HiyA manages to crush this upper right-hand position, pick up that second base for himself for that position as well, I think he's going to just slowly get into the swing of things, because at that point, both players will be in equal bases, and Free has just thrown, I think, away just a few too many forces for it to be very, economically good for him.
Yeah, he's definitely thrown away a couple of recall forces, although a lot of that has to be said that it's because of HiyA's excellent mine and turret placement. that's causing that. It's not necessarily bad play by Free as much as it is great play by HiyA. Really well-placed mines inside of his base, which is really important when you're playing TVP. It's really quite impressive how he's placing his mines. You'll notice a lot of the mines going off, but they're not actually killing his own SCVs somehow. It's actually pretty sweet how it's going on for him. Looks like those High Templars actually got EMP'd, so Free's not going to be able to really engage here. But he has at least gotten the siege tanks off of his top right. He's still got that main running now, and he's had that main running for a pretty long time. He's definitely gotten all of his money worth out of that, I gotta say. Even with all the investment of all those gateways and stuff, he's pretty much made up whatever he invested in that. So that's one thing to say for him, at least keeping that top right alive for as long as he has. And he does have this bottom left going, and we're gonna see carriers. I was actually just about to say that this is gonna end whenever Free decides to get carriers, and whether or not HiyA scouts it out. If HiyA scouts out the carriers within the next minute, 2 minutes before the carriers can really get out, and he'll just be able to steamroll over a Free. If he doesn't notice it, then this is going to become, once again, just one of these crazy, interesting games. We're getting a big recall going off where it's a defensive recall here to get in the middle of this tank line. They're actually going to do a really good job of getting rid of most of this, the front tanks here. And that was actually a really nice play there by Free, able to clear up a lot of his room and push back this force, at least for a little while here, although we see a ton of tanks for HiyA. HiyA has just got to be swimming in money right now to be able to throw that many tanks and still feel comfortable defending the rest of his bases. That is really nice. HiyA is really trying to take half the map here, and he's doing a really good job of getting the second Cybernetics core up for free. So he's going to be going double upgrades, probably maybe even getting plasma shields. And as soon as a round of carry comes out, that's 5 carriers, and usually that is the critical number. Once you get 5, you go out. That's really nice for him. And this next is at the top right. It has fallen. Free has lost it, and HiyA should probably be taking that pretty soon. I can't imagine him waiting too long to take it. He's got to be just about maxed out. Both these guys have got to be maxed out. And now it's just a matter of army positioning. Where do you engage? And will HiyA discover the carriers? When does he discover the carriers? And if he's too late, how many bases does he lose before he's able to transition into Goliath and really get a counter push going? This is going to be a really interesting game here heading into the later stages here. Nice recall this time by Free. Finally getting a nice recall in. That first recall was good, and this was his only... the next 2 were pretty bad, but this one, it looks like it's going to be pretty successful.
Yeah, just really excited to see this transition to carriers. 5 targets, not all of them pumping at the moment, but it is going to be a pretty nicely upgraded army on the ground. In the air, what am I talking about? Carriers fly, them wet. Oh god, I'm just stupefying myself. I gotta stop casting so late. But anyway, HiyA actually gonna move to low at this low left hand position and gonna go in and try to get up. I'm not quite sure if he spotted what's going on, but even if he gets a vulture in there, that's gonna be enough for him to spot that position. He really needs to start getting some Goliaths out there. But I feel that even if Free manages to surprise him a little bit with those carriers, catch him a little off guard, I think HiyA is still gonna have enough time to get his Goliaths out there, because they're pretty sure they have Charon boosters already. Pretty sure there's some nice upgrades. HiyA, meanwhile, has lost the base at that upper right. 3 carriers are going to come in here to defend. These are 3 carriers, not 5, not quite as large a number as needs them. And, of course, almost no interceptors at this point. Already some Goliaths to the lower time. Meanwhile, a defensive recall going to come in. Forces from the back. Some storms coming off. Only a few Goliaths to fight back these carriers, but this very small number of Goliaths. So it seems like it's enough. Already 1 carrier going down. No, 2 interceptors to fight these Goliaths. So Free's carriers going to get picked off in seconds. Meanwhile, Free did have some very nice defensive recalling at this low left-hand base, but those carriers getting ripped to shreds with absolutely no interceptors to help them out. Some tanks, meanwhile, going to get picked off the bridge. So actually, a lot of HiyA's presence here at the lower left and getting picked off. His entire presence at the upper right-hand position already has gotten completely cleaned up. So at the very least, HiyA knows there are carries in there, and I think it's actually a question now whether HiyA thinks that Free's going to try to continue to... I'm not even sure whether Free can really continue getting those carriers going, because he's lost some bases, he's lost some mining. Don't think he can really keep up any heavy amount of carrier production at this point. He's even going to lose more bases, more mining. You see no more carriers being produced. So I think this failed tech switch, unless... HiyA has lost a lot of mining. I don't think he's mining from anything but the 3 o'clock. Might be some mining at the 6. But just because HiyA has only his standing army right now, Free might still have a chance to get back into this. But losing and getting that tech switch completely foiled could still end up really biting him.
Yeah, that is such an expensive tech that he put down. 5 Stargates, the Fleet Beacon. I think he built 3 or 4 carriers, so all of that combined is going to be a couple thousand minerals and a couple thousand gas, and that is really significant, especially when you're considering that he lost both bases at the top right, lost both bases at the bottom left, and both these guys are pretty much only mining off of the 3/9, and kind of the 12-6. I don't know how much more is left there. So neither of these guys is really mining all that strongly. They've mostly got what they've got on the ground, and that's got to be said that it's a little bit of an advantage HiyA, and HiyA actually is going to be able to pick off all those Stargates. He's going to know that there's no more carriers coming his way, so at least, any more than the couple Stargates that are in Free's main. So he's not going to have to do a huge transition spamming Goliaths. I mean, he'll have to mix them in, of course, but he'll still be able to produce tanks and things, so I don't think he'll be caught completely off guard here. And it looks like Free has lost that 9 o'clock position as well, so it looks like Free's mining maybe a little bit at the 12 o'clock. Got the top right maybe up and going again, and that's about it. So he's got his bank, which I got to think for both these guys is pretty significant at this point. We haven't seen enough big engagements that they've run out of 3 bases worth of resources. So they both should have a pretty solid bank to at least keep going for a while. And will carriers keep coming out for free? I suspect that he's going to use those 2 Stargates in his main base to continue producing carriers just at a slow rate. Now we're going to get a big engagement here on the right side of the map. Nice EMP going down, stopping that High Templar from getting any storms off. And without storms, without carriers, without arbiters, this is just not a good idea for Free. It looks like he's got 4 carriers here. I don't even know if those are all real. They might actually be hallucinations, but can't tell for sure. But just not enough forces for Free. And it looks like HiyA is just looking in such a good position right now. His top right base has only got 3 probes, so Free's not mining essentially, and HiyA just is looking in a dominating position right now.
Yeah, he's also going to be able to pick up the lower left and has that natural lower left already, and going to be able to pick up that main as well. Here he picked up the pylons there, so the buildings waiting are going to be completely worthless. Couple of Stargate inside the main. There's another fleet beacon built there, so I think all those 4 carriers are real. They have got some interceptors out there finally, but they're going to be able to pick up some tanks here and there. But as soon as Goliaths come in, there's a lot of Goliaths mixed in with the tanks for HiyA. As long as he manages to keep them clumped up, and if he gets an EMP off, did he manage to get an EMP off the carriers? I have no idea whether he managed to get an EMP off. Nope, did not manage to get an EMP off on the carriers. But really needs to be able to do some damage here. Actually, mines being planted out by vultures because, mines damage carriers. But
they're going to die anyway, so plant your mines.
Yeah, but just the carriers slowly getting the interceptor count up, and they're going to be able to at least engage, but I don't think they're going to be able to engage this amount of Goliaths, especially if HiyA managed to get an EMP off, because 1 EMP on that entire carrier fleet, because you always see them clumped up. So 1 EMP will pretty much take all the shields down, and that could be just death for them in seconds.
I actually had a chance to trap those carriers there at the bottom left. If he had moved those Goliaths up towards that 9 o'clock position, he could have maybe trapped those carriers, maybe picked off another 1 or 2. That was actually very, very close. Free was a little bit lucky that they didn't get kind of closed in there, but he does get away, and that was kind of a big moment there. Free that HiyA could have really done some damage. And now we're seeing carriers being cut out in the open. It looks like one of them is actually at really, really low health, but nope, still not quite able to pick them off. Putting a lot of pressure on these carriers. These carriers really are not able to get the free reign that they need. Really, what you want to get with carriers is you want to be able to start picking off some command centers. You want to get some good runs going where you can just sort of sweep across the side of the map, and Free's just not being allowed to do that. Does not have enough. Ooh, nice EMP actually getting most of those carriers. Not able to really get going. But these carrier numbers, as they start getting to that 9, 10 carriers, it just gets to the point where it's just like, this is kind of imbalanced, and how do you deal with that many carriers? Looks like this Arbiter is going to get a big recall coming off. Now, will this be enough with these carriers to actually take on these Goliaths? And it's hard to tell. Big forces coming in from the top as well for Free. Nice storms going down by a couple of those High Templars. He needs a couple more storms, so he needs a couple more. Does he have them in him? There's another one coming down, picking off a couple more tanks. It looks like just not enough. It looks like the last couple battles, it just looks like Free has been just a little bit short. Needs a couple more storms, needs a few more Dragoons, and just doesn't have it. Just coming up a little bit short in each of these last few battles, and the window for Free to stay in this game is starting to close because he just doesn't have the bank at this point, just doesn't have the mining to keep going for too much longer, especially as these 3 dropships are going to the top right and are probably going to be able to completely take this base down with only minimal problems. Holy jeez, so many. What just happened? What?
Oh god, I think every single one of those High Templar had 3 storms in him, so HiyA was like, oh, I'm gonna go and drop this up right hand, no problem. They're like, holy shit. Look at all those storms.
So many storms.
Definitely had 3 on each of those High Templars. That was absolutely insane. Beautiful play just to counter that. You want to take my base? Screw you. Here's some bad weather, buddy. But HiyA is definitely still staying in the game, has a decent Goliath count, but those carriers still might come and come into play and become a big factor. Free also keeping those High Templars close by to make them effective. Doesn't really have that many Arbors out in the field to help to use those, but really, oh, might get his High Templar picked off. Are there going to be some storms? Some storms coming off on some of those Goliaths, and I don't think he actually might have managed to pick off one High Templar. Not quite sure if he actually managed.
Yeah, he got one.
Yeah, okay, he got one. But still has some Goliaths out there, but with the huge amount of carries right there, I'm not quite sure whether HiyA is going to be able to really engage. Mining-wise, he has the lower left. Might be some at the 3, not all good, too sure, but what he has on the ground is mostly what I think he has. And Free still keeping some mining going, still managed to keep his carrier count up. Might manage to catch those tanks in the open. That's pretty much what you want to do. If you manage to catch those tanks in the open, that's going to be it. And this is going to be a dual brawling engagement. This is going to be a final battle here. Free going to come in here, getting some nice storms off on top of the tanks. Goliath's not quite in position to engage. Another storm going to come off, force those guys. All the tanks going down. A few more tanks here waiting at the back. Archons and Dragoons will come in close now. Zealots from the left side as well. So we saw a science vessel flying around going, oh dear God, my guys are going to die, and not doing anything. But Free taking that large engagement in the middle, and all the tanks went down. HiyA only with a few more tanks, and I just don't think he has enough. These Goliaths are not in position to engage those carriers to pick them off. Some tanks still being put down, but altogether these Zealots are going to be able to come in close, and those carriers are going to be able to abuse those tanks. HiyA going to try to set up another defensive perimeter close to his lower left, and definitely doesn't want to get that taken down. Don't think C's going to actually try to... Free, I'm sorry, is not actually going to be able to engage at the lower left position. Not quite going to push it yet. But the longer the wait is right now, I feel the better position Free's going to be in, the better he's going to be able to abuse HiyA, catch him off guard, catch him in bad position, and do some damage. He's also picking up the natural at the upper right hand. I think some vultures or something at the upper right hand there, waiting to maybe do some damage to it. But still, overall, I feel that HiyA's in a slightly worse position. Still has a lot of Goliaths out there to engage, but just with a much more maneuverable army, Free can pretty much control the engagement as he wants. And if he still manages to get some nice storms off, he might still manage to do it. Zealots coming in close. Goliath's finally acting as a nice blockade for the tanks. Some of the tanks carriers still going to engage. Some carriers are going to go down. Some Goliaths in these positions. But I think the Grand Forces of the Protoss Grand Forces are going to be able to completely clean up that Goliath army. And not many Goliaths at all to engage the carriers. I think a couple of the carriers have gone down. But now the carriers not quite in position to fight back. Do take out a large number of the interceptors. But Dragoon's going to come in close to his natural ice. We're going to start picking that off of those carriers. Dragoons should be able to do that. And HiyA, not quite enough forces. Going to move back with some more Goliaths. Try to continue to engage this, but that command center, despite some heavy repairing, might still go down. He's going to go down. Some of them get picked up. The command center does go down, and Free might get himself a little bit back to a corner, getting more carriers picked off. Only one carrier left. Wow, look at this fighting back from HiyA, coming in at a perfect time, picking off all those. Oh man, picking off all those carriers and now doing damage at the upper right. So despite losing this low left hand, HiyA still getting himself into the game. Oh, back and forth. This is the way I like my TVPs.
Wow, this is such an amazing game. Both of these guys are playing so well throughout the entire... Every time it looks like one player has the advantage, the other guy does something great with his carriers or an arbiter recall or with a good... getting your tanks up onto the top right, doing something great to get some damage done and even out the game again. This has just been so back and forth. So like as you were sitting there commentating for the last couple minutes, like I had my hands on my head. I was just like staring at my screen in awe. I was like, what is going on? This is so impressive. And the game is still so close. There aren't very many carriers that, oh, these High Templars are going to get picked off. This is actually going to be really huge. Not going to have these storms for the next engagement. You know, wow, that's actually really, really big. You know, HiyA's got an opportunity now. He knows that there aren't a whole lot of High Templars. He could go for a push, and I think that's what he's going to do right now. You can see him pushing across the bottom left. I don't really know what he's going for. I don't think there's anything down there, so I'm not really sure what they're doing down there. But yeah, I mean, he's got an opening right now until the next round of High Templars get some energy that he would have the advantage in any sort of engagement, and it looks like he's just going to play defensively, which is a little bit interesting. I guess he's just like, I've got enough of an advantage. I've won the last 2-3 battles. I'm just going to keep up my vulture harass and keep macroing up because we're on equal number of bases. I mean, the two guys are on equal bases. That's usually an advantage for Terran. And since the carrier counts just isn't what it was maybe 4 or 5 minutes ago, HiyA has retaken the advantage in this game, and you know, Free's gonna have to think of something to do to get back into it and do some damage back on him. And I want to see what Free does. Free's come up with some great stuff in this game to keep keep HiyA on his toes. And somehow in the next minute or so, maybe 2 minutes, Free's going to have to engage and do something, and this is going to be really interesting how he decides to do it.
Yeah, just unfortunately for Free, I don't think he has the mineral intake to get back into this, because the upper right hand is almost depleted at this point. And he's got nothing else mining for himself. He got almost no resources. HiyA, at the very least, has picked up the lower left hand again. He's going to be able to continue streaming some army out there. And HiyA has a larger presence on the ground. One storm going to come off there, but HiyA does have a much larger presence on the ground, so he's going to be able to play much better defensively. And the only thing Free has that one carrier flying around the lower left hand to try to deny HiyA from possibly picking up that base. But HiyA's still going to run around with his vultures, be annoying, try to do some damage. EMP's going to go off. That Archon's going to die of one hit from a Vulture at this point. And I think he also hit a High Templar there, actually, so that might be significant as well. Yeah, wow. So that's extremely significant right there as well. Just running around, trying to pick stuff off. Not really much to pick off anymore at any of these locations, but these Vultures still going to be annoying and all. So I think just the longer the game goes at this point, definitively this time, HiyA's going to be over, because I just don't think Free can safely pick up a base without HiyA knowing about it, getting in there with those Vultures and picking it off. No production coming in from Free. No more carriers going to come in. No way he can afford that. He can maybe produce some Dragoons, some Zealots. Finally going to lose his last carrier here right across his flies across my army. I think this is the last push from him. Zealots leading the charge. Most of them dying. Some storms going to come off on top of these Goliaths. Not actually hitting the tanks. GG coming in from Free. And definitely the words GG can be uttered with absolute honesty in this one.
That was such a good game. Midas versus Jaedong was amazing. This is probably my second favorite game so far of the MSL. This was pretty damn impressive. So good, such good play by both of these guys. HiyA going for that bottom left when he did, catching those carriers off guard. That was a pretty pimpin' play right there. And Free with some nice defensive recalls at both the top right and the bottom left. Those were pretty cool too. Some defensive recalls right into those tank lines while they were pushing. Both of those guys playing very, very well. HiyA just a little bit better. That was very impressive. I'm really excited to see Game 2, and hopefully Free wins, because then we can see a Game 3, because these two should play all the time. That was fantastic.
Yeah, just to let you know, this is not the OSL. This is a best of 5, so we might be seeing a crap ton of games from these guys. MSL has that little advantage that we get a best of 5 from the quarterfinals. But hey, first sets of games done. More are going to get continued as soon as I finish my damn finals. But very impressive overall so far. Real looking forward to more, especially from the non-mirrors here. They're looking extremely impressive. So thanks a lot to Deja Vu for joining me today. Might join me more if he's willing and if he's available. We'll see what happens. So, of course, GG guys, Ranshin and Deja Vu out. See you guys later. Hope you enjoyed.
See you guys. Thanks for having me, Ranshin.
Hey guys, this is Ranshin here, bringing us of commentary. This is going to be the second set between Free and HiyA in the Hana Daetoo MSL quarterfinals. I apologize, this is coming in a little bit late, but I've been busy with work and real life and the usual crap. So, and you know, trying to please my girlfriend and such things. They all sometimes just happen to be a little bit more important sometimes. But I apologize. But Hana Daetoo MSL almost at an end. We're slowly but surely getting there. A few more weeks and it's over. So, this is going to be on Odd Eye 2 between Free and HiyA. I've already said that the upper left-hand corner in orange as the Protest player is going to be Free, also known as Pretty. And the bottom right corner in brown as the Terran player is going to be HiyA. Now, very nice because Free is definitely a versus Terran player, a very good versus Terran player. His best matchup. On the opposite side, we have HiyA, who is, you know, he's decent in TVT. He tends to, he can win against Zerg, but has problems with him. But he's extremely good versus Protoss. Over 60% win rate. Definitely a very, very powerful anti-Protoss sniper. So I'm looking forward to this one. So for 1-0 ahead, I do not have Deja Vu alongside me for this one, unfortunately. But that would have just created a very big of a hassle. You know, I basically come online. If he's there, he's there. HiyA, meanwhile, setting out, I think, a very early barracks. Very early forward barracks, so he's going to try to put on some pressure, maybe try to snipe, yeah, 8 racks there, definitely going to go out there, try to snipe an early Nexus here. Going to do some syncing just before the crazy action starts here, 22, 23, 24, 25. On the opposite side, we see Free most likely planning for a 12 Nexus here. This is going to be insane. Oh god, Free with just this move here could be forced to go could be forced to go 2-0 behind. This could be horrible for Free here. He's going to have a serious hard time pulling off a comeback, being 2-0 ahead. I'm a little bit surprised that HiyA is actually going for this, but very beautiful read here for him. This is going to be an early next. I said 12 hatch earlier, I'm sorry, but this is going to be a 12 next. And this is going to fall right into HiyA's hands. He's going to be able to go up there. This is going to be, you know, if he doesn't fail horribly, this should be a picture-perfect Nexus snipe. Bunker bust here should have absolutely no trouble doing anything of the sort. And, of course, Free setting out of not a very significantly late scout just because he put down the Nexus before he sent out a scout. So he's going to be in a lot of trouble. He's going to spot that initial Marine coming out, though. But that's not, I don't think that's going to be a clue, really. Already, okay, there you go. There's the clue. Bunker coming up right inside of his natural expansion, and Free looking like he's in a lot of trouble. Rada. For those of you that get that reference, you're awesome. So already a couple Marines coming up the ramp, more CVs coming up, a few, no probes coming off the line. Yeah, the bunker's already up. Free apparently, he just puts down a second gateway. He's apparently thinking of sacrificing the next. We're going to see whether he actually cancels it. He might end up canceling it before it does anything else. I think it would even be a safe bet for him to just cancel it. Try to get some defenses up because these Marines are going to be able to do a lot of damage to this Nexus. Even going to go up the ramp and try to kill something RSCV in there as well. Those two barracks are not going to be able to prevent it. A second bunker on top of the ramp. Whoa! HiyA is going to go crazy. I think this bunker is not going to be able to come up. I think that's going to get canceled. But I still think that the Nexus, that the natural expansion has already been canceled. That's already something there. A forced cancel. Bunker at the front here, not going to be picked up, not going to be put up. Going to be a Zealot and Probes going to be able to take that bunker down. So going to force a cancel before it goes down. Yeah, there we go. But there's going to be two gateways producing Zealots. We're going to see whether Free actually managed to fight back this. On the opposite side, HiyA is going to put down his Nexus. He sacrifices a little bit of economy by going for this forward aggressive move. And there's not going to be any counter to this bunker until Goons with range come on top. Actually, I think Goons might actually be able to range that just by having that high ground there. So until Goons come up, definitely until Goons come up, nothing doing there. HiyA is already pulling some of his Marines back, possibly for defensive purposes. Has this SCV still there though. So he's going to put up a significantly good economic position for himself if he manages to keep this forward. If he doesn't manage, unless Free goes for some sort of crazy counterattack, I think that's his only option. Get his Zealots out, get a few Dragoons out, try to go and do some damage to HiyA there. I think that's his only option. Zealot's going to come out there trying to do some damage, but Marines just getting shot at by Marines, unfortunately for him. Marines, meanwhile, on the opposite side, actually going to pull back, and a bunker be put at the front. So HiyA, also being very careful, knows that a counterattack could be coming in, so he's going to set up a defensive perimeter at his own back. 3 Marines, maybe 4, I think 3 at the back there, and also going to put up a factory. I assume he's going to get Siege first just to be safe. Might go for mines to help us self-defend, but I think Siege is best ever bet. Is he going to get up there? Gonna spot, not spotting, don't think he got in the range of sniper score, so he doesn't know if it's spitting or not. But it definitely knows what is coming here. The bunker going to go down, 3 Zealots, and a couple of Dragoons as well. Marine also going to go down without killing anything. Now they're going to 3 Zealots and Dragoons. I think Free's also going to put down his Nexus. I think he's going to go for an attack. I think he's going to try to do some damage on the opposite side. He knows he's going to be economically behind now. We do see a wall in from HiyA and a factory on the way. He's going to want to get a tank out there as fast as possible. Has an engineering bay coming in as well, though. Yummy tea. That's fruity. Or nutty, or I don't know what's the word. Very good tea. Anti-strain, because I'm always so strained. I don't know. So I was going to see what these Dragoons actually managed to do anything. They don't have range, so they're not going to be able to range the bunker. I think it's just going to be... He could try to go in full and then break it, but I'm not quite sure how effective that's going to be. We are going to be seeing a tank in. He might actually decide to go in and break it right there. There are 4 SCVs at the back ready to repair that bunker, because HiyA knows a break could be incoming. Free needs to go for a break. There are 4 Dragoons now. I think with this, he might just guys side for gold. He is going to go for this. Is this going to be enough? SCV's coming off the line. Start repairing the bunker right away. Zealots and Dragoons attacking it. Some of the Zealots trying to come in and surround. Barracks actually going to float, but a bunch of SCVs coming off the line. No, they have to repair this bunker. Need to keep it repaired. Also going to be just waiting on the tank. Still the 2 Zealots alive. One of the Dragoons has gone down. The CV's still trying to come off the line to try to repair the bunker, keep it alive as long as humanly possible. Bunker very close to being put down. Still trying to desperately repair. A bunch of the CVs have been taken down at this point. Goons, I think even 2 Goons have been taken out. 2 Goons still alive, trying to take off 1 Zealot. Even 2 Goons have been taken out. 2 Goons still alive, trying to take off 1 Zealot. 1 Goon alive, and the tank has come out. I think HiyA is going to come out alright with this, picking off the Zealot and 1 single Dragoon. The only thing left now for Free. HiyA has lost a significant count of SCVs now, while Free on the opposite side is actually going to get his own natural expansion. HiyA spotting that out with the SCV in there. Still don't, yeah, finally do see that Summoning Score spitting. So Free doing a decent job with that attack. Unfortunately for him, he lost his entire force doing so. He picked up a lot of his CVs. Chick, they're sitting there. Oh my god, they're coming with my glasses off. Oh dear lord. I've been living a lie. Mom, dad, honey, been living a lie. I do not wear glasses. I do not need them. Anyway, robotics facility also coming up, so wondering if this is going to just be for observers. Might just be for observers. Get some scouting in there. Might also be for just quick reavers. Try to go out there. Try to do some more harass. Put on some pressure. There is an eBay out there. So we're probably going to be seeing some turrets out there alongside some scans. Third, a gateway coming up. So we're going to be some heavy Dragoon production coming in for free. Still going to be able to maybe go up, put some pressure. But it should be siege ready for now. I'm kind of fearing that HiyA lost a significant enough number of SCVs that it's going to give Free an opportunity to pull back into this game. Because he was not mining for the natural, I think, at all. He started off mining a little bit, but he pulled off most, if not all, of his SCVs from the natural expansion. Just to keep the defense holding. But definitely has quite a few tanks, and definitely has a position that cannot be broken. There is going to be Observer coming up there. Coming up there for free. Also going to expand a second time, I think, towards the 12 o'clock position. Getting this little of Dune. So he's going to get himself slowly but surely tech to Arbiters. Oh, HiyA meanwhile plopping down 5 barracks. Plopping down 5 barracks. And Free, lucky enough, he's getting Observatory as this is happening. So I thought for a second I saw that eBay blinking. And it is blinking. I thought it was a very early eBay for him for turrets. Definitely a little bit too early. So definitely saw the Academy blinking there as well, so he's going to be working on stim. Observer going to come down there, fly there. It's going to take a while, and there's a white guy. Thumbs up. Peace out to you, man. Observer is going to come in there. Might spot that. We're going to see whether he gets killed by turrets before it manages to do it, or gets forced back by turrets. If that Observer spots this out, Free might still have an opportunity to get some Reavers out there to fight this back. But if he doesn't get the spot on this, he's going to be in a significant amount of trouble. There's going to be Marines and Medics coming out. And then there's just going to be a massive push by HiyA for the kill. Still not an expansion at the right end. Temple Archives coming up. And a Stargate. So Free is going to just tech up to Arbiters of 2 bases. And this is unfortunate for him because Arbiters is not what he needs right now. What he needs right now is Zealots on the ground and Reavers. What he needs is Reavers, and I think the minute that if he manages to spot these barracks, he's going to be able to force the Dragoons around. Just be trying to get his Observer, find a position for it to get inside. But if he spots those barracks and be in good position, they're slowly at the bottom. They're showing what he's seeing, and Free unfortunately still probably doesn't even have an inkling this is going to be coming at him. If he manages to get a spot on this, he might still have an opportunity here to get himself ready for it, but I'm not too sure. He will need Reavers very quickly. He's adding in more gateways, and he's getting his Arbiter Tribunal right now, but still in significantly trouble. And HiyA now going to move out. Free might spot this, probably will spot this as it moves out, spotting this right now, grouping up his Dragoons. He has only a huge number of Dragoons and a few Zealots, but he's going to be in a significant amount of trouble to push this back. Going to be 5 siege tank with siege. Armor upgrade on the Marines of all things, just so they can survive more hits. Actually, a very smart move for him there because it's going to take 1 extra hit from the Dragoons to take out these Marines now. The usual, 4 hits. Now it's going to take him 5, so that's a significant advantage. Also, of course, with the Medics in there, it's also going to make sure that they stay alive. Not quite sure whether I saw him going any significant tech switch either or not. HiyA actually keeping some tanks there at the right side of the map, slowly moving up on this. He's going to be able to put turrets up just in case their Arbiters come out. He's also going to have some scan. Just going to put up siege right now. Going to start siege against these Dragoons. Have his Marines and Medics coming at the front to blockade against that. Some Dragoons will have now gone for HiyA's base. There's a siege tank here at the back. Marines on that bunker, and definitely not enough to push that there. Just five Dragoons against a tank and a bunker full of force. We're going to see scan going to come off just in case. Medic Marines coming here. Tank sieging up at the back. We're going to see when the Marines hold off steady enough. Yes, they do. Force the Dragoons back. Dragoons have to hold steady. There's not much to defend beyond this. Tank's just slowly going to crawl forward, find a stronger siege position. Just going to attack the Observatory in the way, but that's going to get taken down very swiftly. The Arson Dragoons might come in from the back. Siege tank is going to siege up 1 tank, taking out in the front. Some Zealots coming in. I'm not quite sure whether they have speed yet or not. If they need speed to try to get close to those tanks, we're going to be a significant road here. Significant blockade from those Medic Marines. Turret's going to come up as well. There are going to be Arbiters in the way, but I'm not quite sure. I think Free's going to have a significant late Arbiter. I'm not quite sure that's going to help. DT coming out. We're going to see what that's going to be help. Probably going to see scans coming off. Scan does come off. DT probably going to get taken down very soon. Turrets on the way also to help against the DTs. Medic Marines still pushing pushing instead. Even more Marines coming up here. I think HiyA's going to be able to take it with this. Siege tanks yet again unsieging. Going to move in even closer. At this point, they don't even need to siege up. They just need to get themselves close to pick off. So 1TT still in there, picking off some Marines and medic scan coming off. And GG from Free. As soon as he spots the position is hopeless for him. Beautiful tech switch there from HiyA. Catching Free totally off guard. Free, you know, he spotted it, the move coming in, definitely tried to consolidate his forces, but just did not have what he needed. You need to have significant amount of splash potential to do any damage. He tried to go for DTs. There was no time for him whatsoever to try to get High Templars out there, no time to try to get Reavers out there. Instead, he tried to get some DTs. Unfortunately, they did not help him to push that back. If he'd managed to, he would have definitely had a chance to fight back in that game, but just unfortunate for him. Didn't quite manage to do that. If he'd gone for Reavers, that would have been absolutely falling. HiyA would have absolutely lost with that push there, I think. But unfortunately, that did not turn out that way. So, second set over. HiyA 2-0 ahead. GG guys, Wrench this listening. Hope you enjoyed. Third set up next. Hey guys, this is Wrench, your Imperial Circle commentary, right? Third set between Free and HiyA and Hana Daetoo MSL 2010 Spring Season. It's going to be a match point. AKA the I am a Terran and I rape you map. We're going to have Free at the bottom left corner as the brown Protoss player. We're going to have HiyA at the upper hand corner playing white Terran. And he's setting out an early ACV. Oh, you cheesy bastard. He's going to go out there with a CV and say HiyA. Let's see, positioning. Could go behind the mineral lines at the 9 o'clock. Could go a little bit beyond that before the 9 o'clock base out there. Free on the opposite side. Isn't that a significantly early? Oh dear lordy! Oh, HiyA fail. Free going for a gas steal, I'm assuming, with that probe. Spots the SCV that probably wanted to go for some cheese fest. Maybe he was thinking of sneaking it past the main, basically on the right side, hoping that nothing spots him. Maybe he was thinking of something crazy like that, but he's definitely right now just using his SCV to try to block that probe coming in there and getting a gas steal. So whatever HiyA was thinking, plans change, friend. You know, just working on getting his economy up, getting his supply depot down, and get a barracks. And might want to work with. I think Free's plan of possible gas steal is being canceled on the opposite side. Meanwhile, as well, I think it was a significantly early scout, so I think that was a gas steal. Oh dear lordy. And I don't think that's going to be secure. I think this is going to be canceled. We're going to see what he does. Whether he is going to try to go for the gas steal anyway. Nope. Is it? Yep. Yeah, gas steal right there. Oh, HiyA. You just let these things happen to you, don't you? So with a very funky start, it's already got me all sorts of confused. We have HiyA putting down his barracks. We have Free on the opposite side putting down his gateway. He's gotten off a gas steal, so that's going to be some delay. One SCV already working on that assimilator. 3 SCVs already working on the assimilator. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, his own assimilator coming down. He's going to be able to keep that probe alive. He's going to try to harass, trying to delay everything. Not quite sure he's going to be able to pick off any SCVs with that, but definitely going to be able to delay that gas for quite a bit, delay those tanks for quite a bit. There's a girl saying, oh my god, Free's losing. I'm airing myself. So, yeah, 3 SCVs working on that. Marine's going to come up, work on that too. Maybe kill the probe before anything else. And some of us coming in as well for Free, so we're probably going to be seeing some Dragoon action from him. Still don't see it. Not quite sure if I even saw Zealot from him out there. Don't think I did. So maybe just rush into Dragoons before anything else. And of course, he got those valuable 8 gas from that assimilator. Stolly's gonna. Oh, Free, you beautiful, beautiful bastard, you. A second gas steal, and I was sitting there. I cannot believe I let that happen. I mean, sure, this is 100 minerals for Free that is using on that, but come on, the massive amount of tech delay this is causing is immense. Also, already his probe is at the natural expansion, waiting for HiyA to put down the command center. This is basically forcing him. Simulator now significantly damaged with SCVs working on all the Marines peering down, so the simulator going to come down very quickly. You might have even canceled it just before it finished warping in. I think he might have canceled just to get some of those resources back. But probably going to be HiyA expanding right now before it does anything else. And on the opposite side, Free, some Portis players expand as they do this, and I don't know if that's really the best decision to do. I think you should instead work on getting some tech. You're forcing your turn opponent to expand. It means he's not going to have that many forces out there. He's not going to have much. Sure, you try to compete economically. I don't think you should be doing that. You should try to compete with tech at this point. You should try to get some forces out there. Try to get some tech out there. Try to tech up. Try to do some damage with your higher tech units. Then just double expand. Try to go out there, do some economic damage, and then get a quick double expand off as you do so, because you're going to be able to do that. You're going to be able to use your tech to your advantage. On the opposite side, HiyA is also putting in a bunker at the front. He's still just not putting down his factory. That is so late. First Dragoon out there, a couple of Dragoons out there now actually for free, going out there, possibly thinking of putting down some pressure. I'm not quite sure what 3's doing. I think he is going to expand, actually, so... I think the safe bet for him would be if he's going to try to go the economy route, he has to double expand. He has to get that natural expansion going, has to follow it up with a rather quick third, has to go pick off that mineral significantly quickly. Is that actually something you can use in the English language? Significantly quickly? I don't know. But yeah, rather quickly just to keep up, because HiyA's going to have the natural expo much sooner than him, but I think Free's still going to have the tech advantage. Those tanks are not going to be out there to threaten him for some time. The siege is not going to be quite ready yet, so Dragoons might go out there and accomplish something with range. I think that's going to be an opening for them there. SCV trying to get in there, trying to get the scout, is going to be able to spot the natural expo. Dragoon just be trying to prevent that, is going to pick off the SCV before it gets inside the main, but still, natural expansion has been spotted. But HiyA still feel, despite getting an expansion going, still don't think he's in a very good position. He's not going to have a lot of forces out there very quickly. Putting it on eBay right now, getting his machine shop going, desperately trying to get a tank out there. And I think these goons are going to have range at this point already. And yeah, Free doing the smart thing, double expanding, putting out another Nexus at this 9 o'clock position. So he's going to go out there, put on some pressure with his ranged Dragoons. Might be able to, forcing his to come off the line to pick off the bunker. Has 3 Dragoons coming in now. We're going to see whether there's going to be enough pressure to do something with this. Not altogether too sure. On the opposite side, we're going to be seeing a tank coming out fairly soon. 3 SCVs coming off the line. Dragoons just firing on that as much as they can. Trying to pick off the bunker, but those 3 SCVs, that's not going to become too possible. 4th Dragoon actually come out there, try to put in just additional pressure as much as he can. I think Freeze actually, I don't remember which matchup it was, but I think I saw something like this. I think it even was on this map, Gas Steel, but unfortunately the Protest player followed it up with an expansion of his own. He didn't double expand, didn't get a 3rd expand significantly quickly, so he put a lot of pressure on him. 4 SCVs coming off the line now to repair, 1 tank in there as well. Ranging one of the Dragoons, so Dragoons are getting significantly damaged at this point, and the bunker's still going to stay up. 1 tank there at the back with no siege, and now siege mode. So all these Dragoons, 1 shot going to come off, and Free's going to be forced to retreat as this happens. But I still think he's going to be significantly ahead in tech despite these 2 expansions coming up, 2 additional gateways coming up. Dragoons still going to be put out there. Robotics facility, probably going to be seeing observatory right there, so Observer's going to go in there. We're going to be able to spot, probably beat some of the turrets. Actually, no, never mind. eBay ready and turrets up there right now, so wrong. Second factory machine shop up there. Still think that Free, he's going to be able to kick this economy soon. He's going to be able to have a stronger economy. Has that mineral only going right now. Has the natural expansion going now. Still only on 1 gas for now, but he doesn't have the. He's not going for very heavy tech. Doesn't have that significant gateway count where he needs a second assimilator as of yet. He can stay off 1. He probably already has a decent amount of gas saved up at this point. Protest players at the start definitely tend to save up a bit more gas than some other races do, and then at one point they just all the gas goes in 1 single shot. Vultures out there now going to get their speed and mine upgrades. Academy also on the way, so we're going to be seeing some comp stations coming down and scans going off. HiyA smartly actually expanding in the mineral only already, so he's definitely trying to keep up. Don't know if he knows of that 9 o'clock base, but he's definitely assuming it. I definitely think he assumes that, okay, the smart thing for Free to do right now would be competing economically, because he hasn't gone with any crazy tech. He hasn't gone with 1 base tech on me or anything like that, try to beat me with that. So instead, most likely going to go for that armory on the way. And I'm wondering whether Free's going to be working on a carrier build here. I am really wondering whether Free's going to be working on a carrier build. Mines and speed ready for the vultures. They're going to go with the upper left in position, going to plant mines, make sure that base, there's going to be a little bit of trouble getting that base up. And when that base goes up, the HiyA knows exactly when it happens. Meanwhile, now the Observer going to come to his undercut position, going to spot it out, going to spot that HiyA's putting on the base. We're going to see whether Free's going to react by trying to put on his own expansion. He's going to have Observers out there, so these mines won't be in trouble for too long. But it's going to be amassing a lot of force. I'm just wondering whether his response to this is going to be teching up and try to maybe go for Arbors right now, or trying to get an additional base, because the way he is right now, carriers are not a possibility. Carriers are not a possibility anyway, I feel, so far. So he's just now gotten his second gas going, I think, at the Natural Expo. But even with just getting some gateways going. So if he goes the tech route, he might try to expand again. He might try to just get some significant tech, try to get those arbors out there on these 3 bases, on these 2 gas. Try to get some nice recalls off. Harass high economically, and he could win the game just with that. Just try to get a nice recall off inside the main. That could do a significant amount of damage right there. Pick up the command center. Maybe go for a ground attack at this 9 o'clock position. Picking off that mineral only would be a significant amount of damage. Well, a shuttle out there. So, don't think I spotted the robotics support bay for him, but assume it's out there somewhere. Let's see. Don't see it anywhere here, so it's either not there yet or on the way. Could be just for Zealot bombs instead, rather than going for Reavers. Could just be for Zealot bombs, so we might be thinking of going for a ground attack instead. Try to go in and push that 9 o'clock. Finally, seeing some decent factory count coming up there for HiyA. 3rd, 4th, and 5th factory going to be on the way. Armory's getting some upgrades going. Probably going to be seeing Goliaths out there soon enough. That is going to be a shuttle full of Zealots. And we're going to see Observers with a bunch of Dragoons. Very heavy Dragoon army. And we're going to see how they react to this, where they're going for. I think they are going to be going to the mineral. We're going to try to range. There are some mines out there, so Observer's going to be a very important factor. Probe going to come up there to the upper left position. Finally going to start expanding. So HiyA reacting correctly. Going, Free, I'm sorry, doing the correct thing. Going out there, trying to put on some pressure with this and free himself open to an expansion. Losing his Observer, unfortunately, there. I'm not quite sure whether he has another one. Gonna be able to, there's gonna be a turret right on top of that. Some Zealots gonna be able to get in right amongst the tanks. Shuttle might go down, not gonna go down. Tank's gonna be significantly distracted by the Zealots. Dragoons are gonna be able to get right among the lines there. Meanwhile, now Observers and Dragoons at the upper left of the corner to clear out those mines. Dragoons coming in significantly close. They're going to be able to pick off this base. I think some tanks and vultures coming in from the back, forcing some of those Dragoons back there, though. So still a bit of a closed-off position for the Dragoons to do too much. Tanks going to siege up. Marines also at the front alongside the CVs. The CVs doing a beautiful job of blockading here, picking off even Dragoons. There are a bunch of Dragoons getting picked off. Still a lot of pressure being put down. So quite a few Marines died. The barracks also going to come down, but still not significant amount of damage to the command center, I feel. Free's going to open himself up to pick up a base at the upper left position. Going to force HiyA to resaturate and reset up a defense. And he's also weakened HiyA here significantly for a follow-up. Especially for recall follow-up, if that's what he intends to do. I think he lost a little bit too much in that attack. Did a nice start with that. Not quite sure whether he lost the shuttle or not. Didn't see the explosion. Not quite sure whether he lost it or not. Is going to follow it up with carriers. Yes. Is going to follow. Oh, get scanned just as I say that. Oh, crap. So, oh, man. Free trying to go for carriers. But I think this is the correct move. He's going to be getting his 3rd gas right now. Vulture's going to come in there to start harassing this. One photon cannon coming up, but that's not going to be in time. Dragoons, although, going to be able to come up here and harass that. Some mines at the top, but I think Dragoons are in a large enough camp to react to that and pick off those mines before they do any significant amount of damage. Just as I say that, a bunch of Dragoons get hit by a mine. Enjoy. Prove launching wrong day. Every day, kids. Every day. And I'm out of tea. That bothers me. But Dragoon's finally going to be able to manage to pull up here with that Observer in tow. The Nexus is going to be allowed to pull up some cannons out there to help defend. Bunch of Dragoons and Zealots in defense positions. Vulture's just going to go out there, try to be annoying, try to do some damage. Pylon's acting as nice blockade. Some probes, I think a couple of probes got picked off there, but still not quite that much. Vulture's going to be forced back out. HiyA at the very least has a nice idea here. Yet again, going to go and harass this upper left hand. Not much mining going on here. Probe getting picked off, but photon cannon's going to warp in time to, and not really going to be much else in the way of harassment for HiyA anymore. Getting his tech up yet again. Going to expand the low right-hand position. Has a secondary armory on the way. Has a science facility also. Only 2 starport carriers, actually, for free. I find this interesting. He's not focusing too heavily. This is not really an all-in carrier build for him. Only 2 starports. He's going to have 2 out there, and, you know, this is not an win or fail. This is a significant investment in those carriers, but I still think if the carriers get, you know, if there are going to be a significant amount of Goliaths out there, we are going to be seeing some significant count of Goliaths very soon. He doesn't have to start building Goliaths quite yet. He has in a factory, just basically get all of those to build Goliaths at one single time. He's going to be able to have enough Goliaths. He will have Charon boosters up already. He has weapon 1 upgrades on those Goliaths. Probably going to be starting on weapons 2 and armor 1 as well. Should be working on that as we speak. So HiyA's going to have the reaction to those guys, but Free meanwhile has a significant ground army to support those carriers, or even rather for the carriers to act support too. because I still don't see any Goliaths out there. A significant amount of Dragoons actually moving and trying to come in close. We're going to see whether there going to be any sort of Zealot bombs on top of those tanks. Tanks in a very nice line overall for HiyA with Vultures everywhere, trying to drop something on some turrets out there. Still trying to get some Mind Drags going. Unsuccessful, unfortunately. He's now running with Zealots, trying to get some decent Mind Drags off, killing off something, but not all too successful. Dragoons also coming in very close. Tanks trying to siege from range. Vultures trying to attack the Dragoons coming in very close. Zealots also helping mop this up. All of the tanks getting taken down. A lot of Dragoons die as they do so, but now Minimal only now going to get penetrated. A bunch of Zealots, most of the Zealots dead at this point. And HiyA, I think, is going to cancel the attack. Not going to push this too heavily. Instead, going to go down to the low right-hand position. Check that out. Not quite sure if he spotted that out yet or not. Is going to spot that out. Force the commander to float away. Going to be able to deny that base. Work on his carrier count. Third Stargate out there, so he's going to be able to work on some carriers. Still has a decent ground army out there. Did a beautiful attack. They're clearing out a huge amount of tanks. Huge amount of vultures. Got himself an advantage on the ground. Has weapons one of his own now. And we're going to be seeing some sciences coming out there alongside the 2-1 upgrade. Lost his barracks there, I think, so he's actually rebooting his barracks. Still very heavy on the Zealots. Now he needs those to try to rush in close to those tanks. Still don't see Goliaths out there. And I understand that HiyA wants to have tank and vulture armies to react because he knew Free had very significant army out there, very huge goon count. A huge Zealot count, so we need that Goliath acts as decent blocker, but Vultures just help out more of those mines. It's important to look at that nice patrol micro. Zealot get taken down, so that 6th position get cleared up and like revenge. I avenge my brother. And HiyA seeing those carriers out there. I think there was 3, maybe 4. Not all the good truths. I think there was 3, maybe 4. They sometimes clump up so crazy I can't even spot what's going on. Freeman going to expand the 6 o'clock position. Fuel Nat's a safe position. HiyA still doesn't have that lower right hand out there, so he's going to be in some trouble. They are going to finally see some Goliaths out there. We're going to see whether they're not large enough number. Armor 1 and Weapons 1 upgrade. Probably seeing Weapons 2 upgrade very soon. Carrier's going to come in there, start harassing. Now some Goliaths out there. No Charon boosters, interestingly enough. Charon boosters should have been ready ages ago for HiyA. He knew of those carriers from a long time ago. He definitely knew about those. So no excuse for not having any Charon boosters out there. Gonna push back those carriers for now, but still no excuse. Would have been able to probably pick off a carrier at this point with Charon boosters. Scanning to spot the ground forces alongside. Definitely a map that carriers can abuse, I feel. I think this is just a slightly more arbiter-friendly map, I feel. I think recalls, when done correctly, really can be abused a little bit better, but the carriers still, as long as they don't get caught in the open, near the middle, especially in these areas, near the inside 9 and the 3, they can really, be abusable. But now Free going to go for full attack here yet again. Zealot's coming in first. No carriers even close by, and not nearly enough to go for this. Carriers, meanwhile, going to go out there, do some hunting. A Tokak position going to be able to take that out. Interceptor has weapons 1 upgrades at this point, and yeah, that commander going to go down. Going to force a cancel on that. See if he getting picked off. More carriers going to be on the way. So Free at the very is doing a good job of denying bases. The low right-hand position still not up. The 12 o'clock going to go down. I don't even think he actually took it down. I think he's actually going to let it burn. HiyA, meanwhile, going to start pushing out. Has 2-1 upgrades on that. Has a decent amount of tanks, vultures, and Goliaths. Meanwhile, the carrier is going to go into the natural expansion. And Free doing an absolute beautiful job here, I gotta say, is doing some economic harassment. Gonna try to pick off this commander. Not sure if he's gonna be able to manage to do that. I think he will, actually. So if he's not coming off to repair until far too late, the commander are gonna go down. Nice commander snipe. Free looking very strong, despite the fact that I don't think he has a very good ground army. Wasn't as lucky in the last engagement. This time, catching some of the tanks pretty well. Still quite a few siege tanks on the high ground here. Goliath not acting as significant blockers, though. Lightning Dragoons getting quite a few shots off. Some more tanks at the back, but still more than enough forces. A lot of Dragoons melting, but still Zealots coming in close. Dragoons also coming in close. I think they're actually going to come ahead with this. The last tank, oh yeah, carriers coming in at the last moment, and Goliath's not nearly enough now to fight against this. These carriers, GG, HiyA knew. Yeah, he had Goliaths out there, but far too large a ground army for Free for HiyA to do anything against that. So nice game overall. Damn, this is turning out to be a nice PvT. MSL has had a history of great PvTs in the round of 8. Always one good PvT in the round of 8. It wasn't as awesome last season, I feel, but Lost Saga Avalon had some awesome PvTs. So this, I think, definitely keeping in with the history. So we're going to see what happens. GG guys, hope you enjoyed. Full set next.
네, 바로 이제 고성훈 선수의 초반 전략이라든가 이런 것들 자신의 프로브 정찰을 통해서 확실하게 컨트롤 해내면서 가스 견제까지 성공하고 나중에 미네랄 확장 기지 쪽 위로 올라오면서 5시를 먹으려고 하는
Hey guys, this is Ranchin here, bringing you another StarCraft commentary. Booyah. Gonna bring you guys the fourth set between, what are these guys again? Some dude calling himself Free and some other dude calling himself HiyA. I think he always, because he really likes waving hi to people, I don't know. Fourth set, I think I already said that, but this is gonna be this is of course the Hana Daetoo MSL 2010 spring season, mind you. Quarterfinals. This is going to be on Triathlon, a map that has been surprising but a lot of fun at the same time. So I'm kind of excited to see what happens here. At the 5 o'clock position in orange as the Protoss player, we're going to have Free. 7 o'clock position in purple as the Terran player, we're going to have HiyA. And finally, a set without any cheesy goodness apparently from these guys. Finally, some normality. Actually, I don't think that's a word. Normalcy, right? Normalcy? I think so. Come on, guys, give me some language lessons. I love my subscribers. They give me language lessons. Tell me, dude, no, it's not barracks says, it's barracks. It's not, it's Nexi, and stuff like that. It's awesome. Anyway, sinking 42, 43, 44, 45 for good measure. HiyA is still 2-1 ahead. Still a great opportunity to get back into to win this. And Free, though, seems to be getting some momentum back on his side after that third set, where he played absolutely beautifully. Did a double gas steal, stole one gas, then stole it again. It was absolutely beautiful. Delayed the tech a lot. And even though HiyA seemed to be getting back into the groove of things, he just did not have the counter to what Free had. Free had a significant ground army at all times. Backed that up with a nice carrier fleet, not really large, but he was working on it. The further the game went on, the better it would have been in the end for Free. He was denying bases with those carriers. That's really what I liked. You basically used the carriers to start off by denying bases and made sure that the 12 o'clock position on the match point did not get picked up. Picked up the 6 o'clock position for himself as he did so. Denied some significant harassment at his own upper left hand. So he played very well. And just denied bases. So HiyA stayed on 3 while Free was working on his 5th, so definitely not a good position to be in. Free, meanwhile, going to actually go for a quick Nexus yet again. So he's planning on playing an economic game, and nothing really out there for HiyA to do anything about this. No scout coming out here. Pro scout, meanwhile, coming out there for Free. Going to scout, think, to the upper left hand. I think just it's shorter distance to scout from the right to left than right up. I'm not too sure, actually. I think distances are the same, but I think it more just feels like the distances are the same. Not the same, like it's shorter to go from right to left, but I think it's pretty much the same distance. Both players going to scout north, and I think the second they both spot each other, they're just going to run back. And meanwhile, now HiyA also going to get a quick expansion, going very fast expansion. 1 racks into Expo. And getting refinery alongside it, but he's meanwhile going to expand safely beyond the eggs, so it's actually going to be Free who picks up a risky natural Expo, meanwhile going to open himself up to get a safer third as the game goes on. Both players going to go to the 12 o'clock position, and actually, yeah, that SCV being really, really thorough. This is very interesting. SCV being extremely thorough here. I'm wondering when he's actually going to try to do something. Serious? You're serious? You're not really? You're not? Come on, really? Oh, HiyA, you. Oh, come on, you beautiful bastard. You're going to do it, aren't you? Oh. For those of you wondering if a beautiful bastard, that's a compliment for me, but by the way, it's not an insult. So stop thinking I insult the players all the time. Dear God. It was another pro going. But anyway, 7 scroll on the way. CV Scout getting in there. On the opposite side, probably going to see the Probe Scout going in there, spotting everything out as well. And not quite sure whether HiyA actually did put up a base at that 12, but there's a position to put up a base when it's not going to get spotted for a while. Oh man, that would be beautiful. We're going to see what he does that or not. But so aside from that little funky possible play, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen there. It's very interesting so far. I think that's a bunker being put down here. Actually canceled that, I think, at another position, actually putting that there instead. I think he canceled the up position just to open himself up a little bit for later maneuverability. Still has an SCV there at that 12. And it's just kind of sitting there not doing anything. So I'm wondering exactly what that's for. See, second gateway up, Dragoon funneling, they're going to be able to force that SCV up, go away, you pesky SCV, but it had already been hit several times with the Zealots, so it didn't take too long to die. Still, altogether, good defensive positions for both players. Whoa! 3 starports coming up. Holy craposaurus Rex. What's going on here? Dear God. Free with a freaking psychic probe. Scouting out that 12 o'clock. He's like, something's fishy around here. Going to be able to spot that SCV that's, well, not doing anything, but at the very least, he's still going to be able to spot that SCV not doing anything. So, gets something. But what the hell is HiyA going for? This is going to be 3-port Wraith. Is this going to be 3-port Wraith? This is madness. This is madness. This isn't even Sparta anymore, guys. This is just madness. Oh, dear Lord. Has that CV in there actually been damaged by the probe a little bit? Actually, I got my hits off. CV still staying out there, not doing anything. 3 starports. What are you doing, HiyA? Wraiths. 3-port Wraiths. I love this guy. I absolutely love this HiyA guy. Seriously, are you kidding me? This guy is absolutely beautiful. This guy is an absolutely beautiful, beautiful person. I love this guy. Still of a Dune and robotics is still of a Dune coming up, and a control tower on the way. So he's gonna go for 3-port cloak wraiths, getting a cannon, getting comms stations going as well, and. Oh, man. At the very least, there are going to be probably going to be an observatory coming up there soon. So probably going to be seeing some observers out there. Yeah, there we go. The observer. We're going to see some observers out there. So there is going to be a help. But those Wraiths, of course, with scans, they're going to be able to pick off those observers before they can do anything. So control tower going to be on the way. Wraiths are going to be hitting that position maybe until you got, I don't know, 5 maybe. And then maybe go out there, try to do some damage. You know, basically wait until he has enough so he can go out there and actually pick up a probe with a volley. Try to do some damage. Already moving out with 2 of his. Oh yeah, just gonna pick off the arbiter with a few of his rays just to get those eggs spotted out. So he eventually want to clear that up for some more maneuverability for his ground forces. On the opposite, Free actually thinking of expanding at that 9 o'clock position beyond the eggs. Finally, has the triple archives on the way, so he's gonna be working on 2, maybe 3 base arbiters here at the 12 o'clock position. HiyA is finally gonna expand with that SCV. It was spotted earlier, but I'm not quite sure whether Free might be thinking like he can't be crazy enough to do this, can he? Observers on the way, I think, running across the map. Wraith's going to take the scenic route towards the Natural Expo. Just waiting for now. I think that's 4, maybe 5. It's going to take a little bit more to get the spotted. Still pulling back. Still thinking about it. He's going to go for it, though. Cloak and kablamo. Kablamo. 3 probes. 4 probes. No, 4 probes. What? Come on. Kill more probes. Kill more probes. Are there any observers? No observers there. A bunch of Dragoons out there, but no observers to help him. Finally, some observers. Scans coming off as well, trying to spot the observers and trying to keep those Wraiths alive. Going out there, picking off some probes. Forge on the way. He needs cannons. Desperately now going to be able to go up there, spot that 9 o'clock position. There's no way he's going to take that out, though. It's going to take the Dragoons a significant amount of time to actually do anything. He might actually decide to just try to focus down that 9 o'clock position instead of doing anything else. More Wraiths on the way, I think, towards that position. So I think he is going to try to focus that down. But the eggs have been passed by, so the Dragoons are going to be able to get past that. Going to start engaging that. Still a significant amount of damage done to that Nexus, actually. But even more Wraiths, so he's focusing very, very heavily on the Wraiths. At the very least, his Wraiths are going to be acting as a very nice as long as he keeps them alive in a decent enough number. He'll be use them as a very nice harassment strategy. He's gonna be able to keep those Dragoons, keep those forces inside. This is more like a Zerg Muta build, actually. Just use your Mutas out there against a Terran versus Terran Muta build. You use your Mutas to keep those Medic Marines inside and around the Terran's base. Make sure they don't expand. And just keep the unit count a little bit lower. Try to pick off SCVs and stuff here. In this case, probes here and there. Losing an observer there, so that's some damage. That's some probes are going to be getting some free kills off. The Forge not going to get canceled, but still a decent amount of probes getting picked off. So these Wraiths really doing their job. Another observer going to go down. I think a couple of Wraiths actually lost their life to do that. Another Wraith, more. Oh, that's unfortunately the problem with Wraiths. They're extremely flimsy at 120. Health, that's not a lot. Meanwhile, gonna get a 3rd gas going at Torcock position. Another refinery. Covert ops on the way. Oh god, this is gonna be awesome. Oh god, this is gonna be ghosts. Oh, no idea whether it's going to be at all successful with this, but I gotta salute the guy for this madness that he's bringing us. Dear God. Ray's going to go out there actually clearing up some arbiters. Eggs. Spot the eggs. Scanning off position, trying to find openings for himself. More gateway's going to be on the way, so Free desperately needs to keep his Dragoons all around his base, so you can see. Get cannons up where necessary. Don't think he's going to continue going very heavy on the Wraith continuously. I don't think he's going to continue doing that. But he has covert ops. Has a nuclear silo up at the StarCraft position, and there's going to be Observer coming up to spot. That's Can coming off. The Observer going to get picked off. So that's going to be something for Free to think about. It's like, wait a minute, why was he so desperate for that? Another probe here. Ooh, die. So I think HiyA is going to want to expand at this natural expansion of his soon, also just to alleviate some suspicion. Meanwhile, now I actually have some army wing around, and a Dark Templar. Oh, dear God, I am so loving this. I am so loving this right now. Oh, what is this going to be? What's that going to be for? I mean, really, I have no idea what it's going to be for. Nuclear silo at the 12 getting spotted now. Turrets coming in way too late. Free knows there are going to be nukes coming in. This could be mind control. I'm thinking this could be mind control. Feedbacks, I don't know. I don't know about feedbacks. I think there's going to be mind control. Might be Maelstrom. A massive Maelstrom, of course, on those Wraiths would just kill them all. Make sure they all die in seconds. But I think another option would be mind control. We're going to see, though, I mean, what you want to mind control. There's just a question of what he would want to mind control. I'm not quite sure whether they have anything to mind control. Maybe a science vessel, I don't know. But I think, yeah, mind control or Maelstrom. Those are the two options I'm seeing. And meanwhile, now some forces coming here on the ground beyond these X towards the upper left hand. Those are the 12 position. Raids coming in to help reinforce that. SCV's coming off the line to act as a blockade. Tanks, 2 siege tanks in position. Nuclear silo working on the nuke. Actually, supply depot being put up also as a blockading building. Still the eggs. Still yet to be gotten through. So that's going to take some time. Still, at the very least, he's held off the 12 position. Now going to be a science vessel and a dropship. I think this is going to be a Nexus sniper here. He's going to try to get an EMP off, and then instantly follow it up with a nuke. We're going to see what he manages. He's going to be able to range it. He should have been. He's definitely practiced this. Nuke has been launched. We're going to see whether Free is going to have enough to do this, though. We're going to see. Yeah, Wraith's coming in here. EMP, 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 EMP! EMP is the Nexus. Oh, nuke coming down. Oh, no, not quite enough. Not quite enough. Now the Wraiths, I think, need to come in and finish this off. There's not that much. Or it's going to be a second nuke. I don't know. Not quite enough to pick the nuke off. I think a bunch of probes died with it, though, unless they got pulled off. Not able to get too sure, but still nice play there for him. Not quite enough to pick off the nuke, unfortunately. But HiyA playing absolutely crazy. Unfortunately, I think he's sacrificing a lot in army for this. He's sacrificing a lot in what he wouldn't want to sacrifice for. I think this whole composition now is significant danger. Has only a couple of siege tanks and not that many eggs to get through. SCV is already working on repairing the supply depots as hard as they can. Zealots already penetrating. However, they are going to be forced to come in a line. Still SCVs. If that supply depot goes down, that's going to be curtains right there. That's going to be horrible for him. Several SCVs, quite a few actually repairing that. Another ghost going to go in. Probably going to go and get another nuke off. Still some SCVs repairing the supply depot. Zealots desperate to come in, but it's not a very strong line, so not that many Zealots actually going to come in. But one tank has already been taken out. Second tank might actually be ranged. Nuclear launch detected at that inside 8 o'clock position, or 5 o'clock position rather, just to take these cannons out, and might take some probes out along with him. Hello? Nuke? There we go. Nukey! Oh, the probes go down. Most of the probes go down alongside the cannons, but one single tank. Supply deal at the front, desperately trying to be repaired. One tank saving HiyA at the 12. Where are more units? Oh my god, 10 kills on that one siege tank. What does the other one have? Master Sergeant indeed. This guy's a hero. Supply depot still being repaired desperately, but oh my god, forcing this Thermopylae tank right there at the 12 o'clock position. Frickin' 300. Who needs 300 Spartans when you have one siege tank? Still that dropship going out there. Ghost being utilized as well as possible. And HiyA, I think, finally expanding on this natural expo at that 9 o'clock position. Free, meanwhile, going to expand at the upper right hand. Free definitely heading bases. Has 3, but he's lost a lot of probe. Been harassed at all sides. Has arbiters out there, though. So going to be a recall coming in to where meanwhile nuclear launch going to come in yet again towards that inside 5 o'clock, I think, but now a recall right inside of HiyA's main. This is gonna be a lot. EMP did go off on pretty much everything there, but I just don't think HiyA has much in the way of forces at all. Nuke is gonna come off, pick off a lot of the forces. Nexus go down alongside the cannons, but I still think Free's gonna be able to accomplish something inside of HiyA's base. He just does not have much in the way of defense. Finally, there are some tanks and just as I say that, vultures and tanks. Wrong day. Vultures and tanks and stuff coming in there. Oh, man, this is such an insane back and forth. I have no idea who's winning at this point. Are you kidding me? Oh, I think this is finally going to clear up. Quite a few supply depots taken down. Maybe some, I don't think much tech or any production buildings either. Just a bunch of supply depots. Not much else. Some SCVs and such, but not too much damage done. Quite a few supply depots. That's some damage. That's a supply block right there. No more nukes on the way. Our West is already ready. And still he's utilizing that dropships well. He's already picked off one base, done some significant damage. Archon just waiting for him like, I got you. I'm ready for you anytime you come out, you bastard. I'm ready for you. He's already used some energy, I think. Actually, no, it's just his shields. Another recall going to come in there at the 12. This is going to be able to do the damage. Should have done this right away. CV's going to be forced to pull off the line. The commands are going to be forced away. No more nukes. And never mind that. The command center might go down. The tech going to go down. HiyA knowing like, ah, crap. Maybe I should have defended this place a little better. Command center going to go down. And with this, pardon me, in his entire tactic, I think, now he's going to be forced to push out and do some damage. That upper right-hand position going to be getting taken down. Has that base up there for free. He's also, meanwhile, reestablished at this point his inside at the 5 o'clock position. Inside base, the 5 o'clock position. His weapons to upgrade while HiyA still working on 1-1. Going to pick up another base here at the inside 9. Bunch of ACVs running there to try to start mining at that base, but I don't think he's had that mine. He still has minerals at his main, which surprises me. He's not had like mass insane saturation, but unfortunately he lost that at 12 position. That's some tech as well, so no more nukes coming from. He's utilized those nukes fairly well, though, I gotta say. Dear God, that was absolutely beautiful play from him this entire game so far. And I'm ecstatic to see what else happens. If any other crazy crap happens here. Yet another recall going to come in. Only a couple of turrets is going to be enough. This is going to be recall. Oh! Oh, look at that. Oh, Ghost. You beautiful bastard. You. Oh, free looking. I can't believe that happened. I cannot believe that happened. Oh, man. That is massive. What is that shit called again? Oh, crap. Words just exit my mind. It's right back there at the back of my mind. I know. Oh. Yeah. Oh, but thing. Oh, God. I forgot. My mind not working. Oh, but there is a recall going to come off at the lower left-hand base where the two armies are. Ouch. Yeah. That's canceled upgrades right there. And that's command center that's going to get floated to danger, actually, and all those forces are going to be forced back into the game. I think at this point, unfortunately for HiyA, he's going to start losing his upgrades, and that's going to be bad for him to be behind in the upgrade war. And he's behind in that, well, he's lost more bases at this point, and HiyA has the maneuverability going. He has that maneuverability going, so unfortunately for him, he's kind of in a bad position, I gotta say. Now we're going to see the first-person view of his. Just not getting a second forge up out there. On the opposite side, we see HiyA's first base. And yeah, he only has that main, which is barely mining right now. Has some zealots harassing him. And is natural only. So he's overall not in a very good position, I gotta say. Just not a very good position. Oh, dear God, are you kidding me? This is insane. This is insane. Lockdown! That's what it was. Lockdown. Right. That's what that spell was called. The Ghost Lockdown. Dear God. Sometimes just when you don't see something for ages, it exits your mind. High Templar are going to come in here. Some nice stasis at the front, but they actually might act as a blockade more than anything. Gonna be a float. There are huge amount of storms hitting the tanks and the Goliath. Some Goliaths got out the safety though, but I still think that Free has a significant amount of forces here moving in close. HiyA desperately gonna try to fight this back, but he's losing so much mining. His main has pretty much no mining left. Natural expansion has some left because he got that so late, but also really needs these additional bases. Losing that 12 o'clock position was bad. He held it off for so long, so valiantly, but as soon as that recall came in, there was nothing. He should have had mines there. He should have more siege tanks. Vultures. He just did not have the defense he needs, and he wasn't building a regular army for so long. But this has been actually insane PvT. Ooh, 2 MPs actually managed to get off, I think, for the supply deep. The science was got picked up, and I'm not quite sure whether the Archon has actually been of use at all so far. Whether Dark Archon has actually done anything. It's been around, and I think my eyes just deceiving me. He might have done something, but I'm as confused as, well, me. Commands are yet again going to be floated towards that 9 o'clock inside base. Weapons 3 upgrades now for those Dragoons. 4 Dragoons waiting at the lower left-hand base, trying to just deny any opportunity, any attempt by HiyA to pick that off. Free, meanwhile, has the 12, upper right. Oh! What are you doing? That's a mind-controlled SCV building a command center. Free, you audacious little bastard. No, HiyA even saw that and smiled and laughed to himself a little bit. Free even bring in the insults at this point. Like, do you know what you've done to me? Do you know all the crap you've put me through? This is what you get back. But Free, he is so far ahead at this point. I don't think HiyA's going to have 2 nice stasis. Just managed to get a lot of tanks in that. And Free, 2 mining bases at the north. Has his natural, and finally GG. Yeah, too many bases ahead, and HiyA no chance at this point. He's laughing, though. And that game deserves a chuckle, I gotta say. That was an absolutely beautiful game of StarCraft. Dear God, that was insane. Near the end there, I was just like, lost all energy. Are you kidding me? I was so mad. Ah, no idea what's going on. Anyway, finally gonna end this quarterfinals in the next one. Gonna bring guys a little bit surprised there. So you'll see what that is once you gotta go watch to see what that is. Anyway, that's gonna be hard in the 5th set to beat that. We're gonna see what these guys bring though. Oh man, I think I blacked out for like a whole minute during that game when I don't know what the hell was going on. But anyway, Free sitting next to Midas. It was like, how was that for a crazy game? Oh, and HiyA. Wondering if he's actually, I think Jaedong's in there, so he might have a teammate to chat with. But anyway, GG guys, for listening. Hope you enjoyed. Bringing you out, guys, the last set in the 5th one. No anti-spoilers! Woot! Hey guys, this is Ranchin here, bringing us StarCraft commentary. This is going to be the 5th set between Free and HiyA in the Hana Daetoo MSL 2010 spring season quarterfinals, all that. It's going to be fighting Spirit at the upper right-hand corner in white. We're going to have the Protest player Free at the bottom right corner. Turn player HiyA wearing purple. And after the significant amount of mental damage that I sustained in the 4th set, I decided to bring in a dual commentator with me today. So Daetoo is joining me once again. Kind of fitting that he commentated the first set, and I was commentating the 5th one as well. I'm going to do some syncage here, 29, 30, 31, just to make my life a little bit easier. But yeah, just living up to the 4th set is going to be insane. We had a 3-port Cloak Wraith start by HiyA, then followed up with nukes, and we had a Dark Archon dancing around. We had a literal battle of Thermopylae at the 12 o'clock position where just a huge amount of Zealots and Dragoons tried to get in through a small gap with nothing to defend but 2 tanks, and eventually he was forced to send in a recall, and it was absolutely insane all the way through, but Free ended up edging out the victory. So HiyA, after a 2-0 start, is now, Free has managed to equalize it 2-2, starting off with the gateway here at the bottom. Both players kind of act as partial block-ups. So this is a 4-player map, so just as the first set was, definitely expecting an age-long macro game, and honestly, couldn't have it any other way, and definitely have Daetoo alongside me, the guy to have alongside me for a PvT macro fest.
Yeah, this should be a whole lot of fun. It's on Fighting Spirit. Wasn't the first game on Fighting Spirit too? I think it was. So yeah, I guess we're doing a little bookend action here. We're just jumping in for the first and fifth sets. But yeah, if you believe in momentum, after that last game when Free was able to fend off nukes and rates, just the craziest build from HiyA, you got to think that Free has got to be riding high. You know, he's defeated a build that HiyA had completely planned out. He'd planned out this victory, even taking that kind of sneaky expansion at the 12 o'clock. Was definitely completely planned out, and for Free to be able to defeat that, he's got to be just in riding that momentum. And you see him like putting forward a forward zealot gateway there. I wonder if he's going to maybe try and push a zealot through. We see him throwing down a pylon as well to block that containing of HiyA. So HiyA's not going to get that nice wall in, so we could see a zealot try and get in here and just be a little bit harassive. So Free's going to try and put HiyA kind of on the back foot, kind of just push him and give him something to think about after that last game, because I don't think Free wants to go through and let HiyA just have a free run like last game, because that was very, very stressful, I'm sure, for Free. But this should be a whole lot of fun. I don't think that this is going to end up being too significant. Free actually allowed that pylon to warp in. I'm kind of surprised about that. I thought he would cancel it, but he is going to try and work this zealot, and don't think he's going to have too much success here, though. There's enough SCVs there to block and a couple Marines as well, so I think this is going to be a little bit of annoyance, but Free should be able to micro this, or HiyA should be able to micro this and defend pretty well, or maybe not, losing one Marine already. And this zealot's just going to get a nice little scout on here, see if there's any sort of like quick tech going on, if he can keep it alive long enough to see if, you know, maybe there's another starport or an early factory, something like that. That's about all the use that zealot's going to get anymore, unless he can keep it alive long enough to recharge its shield. That's one of the fun things about Protoss units, but doesn't look like it. I think that zealot's going to die. Yeah, it goes down. So the scouting is just about over here, but getting a nice little delay there for Free gives him some advantages, and sending a second zealot, that zealot's not going to do anything, but just trying to be harassive here just to start.
Yeah, only going to just try to put on the pressure. He definitely doesn't want, because the last game he was the one being pressured all the time, and until near the end of the game with those arbors out there. HiyA just did not have a proper response to that, despite having just did not have any defensive perimeter, did not have proper defenses set up. So unfortunately, he got completely caught, despite a this is a kind of bad first recall by Free in the last set. He still followed up with mass recalls all over the place, then managed to push in with a ground army, utilize stasis very well. So just managed to deny bases in that manner. And Free, I gotta say, in the last two sets especially, has played very well. In the third set, got out those carriers at a very good time, actually utilized them instead of using them as a kind of a mass main force. He had a huge ground army alongside, kind of used those carriers just to harass, deny bases, make sure that no forces can freely run around the middle, and even managed to snipe a nexus with them. Command center with him. So really played smartly, and I gotta agree with the whole momentum thing. I gotta agree that he's got to be riding one. And HiyA going to build up a command center inside of his own base, and actually looking like he wants to, instead of floating it to the natural expansion, actually seems like he might want to float it towards this 6. That's kind of interesting. Nexus on the opposite side up there for Free, and the Robotics is up there. This is probably just going to be for these observers, but actually Nexus a little bit early for him, just because I think he's feeling safe, has those Dragoons out there on the bridge alongside Zell. He knows he can put on pressure. He knows if tanks or any sort of push comes out there for HiyA, he's going to be there in time. He's going to have an opportunity to snipe some tanks as they come out, so I think he's definitely feeling safe and confident in himself. Wondering if he's going to try to utilize that fast expansion tactics that he's been using, especially in the third set, where he just tried to expand all over the place. Also in the fourth set, really, just expanding very quickly, and I think that really helped him out, keeping a base or two above HiyA at all times and trying to deny bases. If he manages to keep HiyA in this little corner of his with 3 bases tops while he takes the entire northern side, I think he's going to be in pretty good position this entire game.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think that's what Free is planning to do, is just try and make this a macro fest. And I really think that Free has an opportunity here. As soon as he scouts out that it's a siege expand, I think he could probably tell from his scouting that this was probably a siege expand, but once he confirms it just by, maybe walking forward just a few steps and seeing that siege or that command center, I think he can get away with taking a very, very quick third if he wanted to. I'm not sure if he's going to do that, though, because he did throw down a couple of gateways, but that opportunity is definitely there, and I kind of want to see what HiyA is going to go for. If he's going to do a 2-base play, maybe do a 1-0 push or something like that, or if he could also go for a very quick third and take his base at the 6 o'clock. Both of those are very, very cool. I like it when you do a siege expand for Terran. I think it's actually pretty sweet when you do a double expand and take your third pretty quick, just because the normal Protoss response is to go and try and take a quick third. So you can either go for maybe like a 4-factory push and try and punish the Protoss, or you can go try and take a quick third yourself and continue your defensive play and just get a huge macro going. So either of those options are there, and I really want to see what these two guys do. I don't think either of them, I don't think Free is going to go for a 2-base play. We do see him throwing down a couple pylons at the 12 o'clock, so this is going to be a pretty early, pretty well timed third. He does have observers out, so he's not going to get caught with his pants downs or anything. I think he's going to try and sneak an observer, and we'll see if he can get through. There are turrets pretty well placed by HiyA. HiyA, I think he did this on last time we were on Fighting Spirit as well. He placed his turrets pretty darn well, so that way observers can't sneak in and get the full scout in. Sometimes you'll see players pair 2 observers together and just sort of sack one in order to sneak the second one in. But you can also see a back turret there by the command center, so even if Free was to do that, I think the second observer would actually also go down. So some really nice turret placement by HiyA there. I think I'm actually kind of impressed by how well spaced out those turrets are, stopping that scout on, and that's actually really important because that's going to make Free quite a bit less comfortable than he would otherwise be.
Free at the very least knows that HiyA is not going to go out there to get a third base. Well, he's meanwhile going to be able to safely take his own third. So I'm thinking, wondering whether we might see some 3-base arbiter play. He's adding in some gateways right now, going to go on those 5 gateways. Instead, he might go for something similar to what he did on match point, try to get those 3 bases going. And as he sort of continues pushing to the upper left, tries to pick up a 4th, he might decide to go and get some carriers going. But before he does that, probably going to be seeing him massing a huge ground army, because it just went much better for him when he had a nice presence on the ground before he tried to take to the skies. Meanwhile, now I did see HiyA put down a bunch of his own additional factories. You do see, I think these are 2 observers. I think might be 2, might be 1. I was looking at 2 shirts, so it might be going for that little sack trick. Definitely trying to find a positioning for himself to try to sneak in. Still has a bunch of Dragoons across those bridges, so at least if any push comes out, he's going to know what's happening as it happens. Has a shuttle in there as well for Zealot bombs and a building, which I am not sure what is because it is blocked. I assume it's a Citadel of a Dune. Don't think I've actually seen that come down yet. 5th factory now going to be on the way, so I think this will be a 5-fact for HiyA. This might be a more of a defensive push rather than an offensive one, just so he can pick up an additional base for himself. Don't think he's going to go out there to try to snipe one. I think it's just going to be kind of a response to what Free's doing, but he is going across the bridge, so I'm not all the good he's trying to pick up, I think, the line position for him, because if he wants to continue expanding, especially if he wants to expand northward to put on more pressure on Free, he's going to want to take this entire line. He's going to want to take a huge position, but Free going to react to this by putting down his own Dragoons. Actually going to be forced back, losing a couple at the front, moving down with a shuttle here. We're going to see what he's actually managing. Siege tanks unsieging at just the right time. Scan's going to come off as well, so HiyA wants to make damn well sure he knows the position he's in. Shuttle going to come in here. No turret in place, so he might actually manage to get quite a few Zealots out. There are a couple of vultures down the ground, but they're going to be siege tanks. HiyA doing an absolutely beautiful job of unsieging at just the right time. Mine's going to be put down by these vultures, getting their upgrade just at the right time. And the shuttle flying around there in the air uselessly, not doing much. Some Zealots here at the back don't probably have the Zealot speed yet, because Silver Dune, I believe, just now has come up, so waiting on that right now as well. Turrets being put down just so the shuttle stays useless. Desperately trying to get some Zealots up to those tanks, but tanks being utilized absolutely beautifully. Sieging to the right time, one Zealot cut him off. Get one Mind Drag in. Turret not going to come up, and quite a few vultures being picked off there, so beautiful play there now. Barracks, oh, it does go down, so that's going to be another barracks. So HiyA's going to be forced to pull as soon as the barracks goes up. You can see a full face shot of HiyA there, but he's still pushing up. I thought it was going to be more of a defensive thing, but he's actually moving up close. Definitely think he's actually at this point going to try to go all the way to the natural, try to do a contain on that base there. We're going to see how successful it is, because so far he's been doing an absolutely beautiful job of siege, unsiege movement.
Yeah, that was some very, very impressive micro there. None of the Zella bombs doing much of anything except stopping or delaying a turret, really. I'm not able to do much else, and I think HiyA is going to take the 6 o'clock now. I thought I saw something moving down there. Hopefully HiyA is going to take a third base. He really should do it pretty soon. He could dedicate to this 5 factory push and really go for the kill, but I think, I don't know if this contain is going to be just good enough to do that. Ooh, actually getting a nice Zell up on there, picking off 2 or 3 tanks. That was very, very nice for Free. HiyA not paying attention at that exact moment, was busy macroing or doing something else, and Free was able to take advantage. He has finished his speed lot, so he could go for a big flank. This contained by HiyA doesn't actually cover the outer bridge, leaving the natural expansion all that well, so he could, Free certainly could get across that bridge and try and do kind of a long front, go from his bridge down to the center expansion, or maybe even send a few units to the back to cut off reinforcements, and really just come in from a lot of different angles on this force for HiyA as soon as he feels comfortable. He could also be waiting for arbiters, but not sure if he's going to have time to sit here and wait. We do see the forces coming across the bridge here, and he's going to try and set up a pretty wide arc. You can see Free's forces making a nice arc, charging in here. Here come the Zealots first, clearing away most of their mines, and there are still a whole lot of Zealots coming out left, and they are getting into the front lines of the tanks. The front tanks are certainly going to go down, but the Vultures are in between the front and the back line, and doing a pretty decent job of at least protecting the last couple of tanks, but it looks like Free's going to have enough to take this down. He's got a lot of Dragoons left. If he can micro this and stop shooting Vultures and actually shoots tanks, if he can stop shooting Vultures and shoot tanks, there we go. Zealot's getting into the tank line, and this 5-fact push has been nullified. So Free is in a huge lead here, especially since he sees the 6 o'clock base. He's going to be able to take that down. There's very little HiyA can do to defend this, so Free has just taken a huge lead in this game. I'm going to get arbiters going, and honestly, that's the decisive moment in this game right now. If Free loses this game, it's going to take some fantastic play from HiyA, because a failed 5-fact push just puts you so far behind economically, especially if your third doesn't even get up like it's not for HiyA in this case.
Yeah, really bad position for them. I feel he should have cut his losses and tried to retreat with the back of his forces. He might have thought, I still have some of this, still had a lot of auxiliary forces, still had quite a few Vultures in there, probably going to lose the command center to all those Dragoons. Yep, the command center goodbye right now, yeah. But still trying to go out there with some Vultures, trying to do some harassment, but Free doing a beautiful job of not allowing him to that 12 o'clock position, not allowing him to get to his third. He's desperately, meanwhile, HiyA, desperately trying to get his army back up, but definitely feel he should have cut his loss in that. He could have sacked maybe half of his army to save the other half. I mean, not the position you want to be in, and he wouldn't have done as much army damage, but at the same time, still not really a very good position to be in. For HiyA at the very least, going to be able to deny that upper, well, not deny it, but yeah, it's
delay
warps in, Ranshin, yeah. It's warps in, Ranshin, remember how it works? But the upper left in position at the very least, going to be able to, spot that out, so it's something, it's knowledge. It's what he needs right now. He needs to get that scouting. He needs to be annoying and harassing with these Vultures right now. Utilize what he has, because right now the only thing he can continue, losing some Vultures' own mines there, but the only thing he has right now are Vultures, and he has to utilize them as well as he can. But Free doing a beautiful job, just sending out his Zealots first to clear up. He's going to be able to defend this upper left hand very safely, and this upper left hand is, of course, going to lead to yet another easy base, so he's going to be able to pick up the entire northern side, and this is exactly... I think it's pretty much exactly what I said near the beginning of the game. If Free can hold HiyA to his corner while he picks up the entire northern side of the map, he is going to win this game. And that's exactly what this is leading towards. Free now has enough force that he can move out there and do some harassment, try to get some mine drags going. HiyA desperately trying to retake that 6 o'clock, but Free's going to be able to get his fourth up and running before HiyA even has his third. So absolutely horrible position for a turn player to be in against a Protoss.
Yeah, and especially with the complete lack of map presence for HiyA, he's just got nothing going right now. You could really see HiyA take a quick fifth as well. He could take the natural of the top left main if he wanted to. Now you can see him starting to get his upgrades. I'm kind of surprised that Free actually hasn't thrown down a second forge and just gone for some mass upgrades. I think HiyA's at 1-1 right now. Yeah, HiyA's at 1-1. So Free should be able to catch up pretty quickly if he throws down that second forge and really
0-0 actually.
Oh, he's at 0-0 really? Oh,
yep.
Okay, never mind. My video's a little bit blurry then. Well, we do have the Templar Archives and the Stargate coming up, so we are going to be seeing Arbiter play here. And with as many bases as Free has, he could go 2 Stargates, get out a bunch of Arbiters, and you could really just see Stasis just absolutely manhandling whatever Terran pushes comes. We do see some Vultures coming to the top left position, going to try and get some probe kills. They'll get a few here. It looks like they're going to get 3, 4. They're going to get a few more. This is actually a pretty solid harassment from HiyA. I just don't think that this is enough. I mean, he's going to be a couple bases behind now. I think he is taking that 5th base, the top left natural, and this just isn't enough damage. You know, losing a half dozen probes just doesn't counter, you know, being down 2 bases. It's just too much, especially considering that HiyA doesn't really have enough of an army to do a push. You saw his tank numbers there, and while it looks impressive, there's no way that tank force is going to be able to push out right now. If he was to push out right now, he would be absolutely slaughtered. So he's still going to have to turtle up here, wait for more tanks, wait for more Vultures to lay down some mines, wait for upgrades or something. He's going to need something else. HiyA is just really working from a bad spot here, and he's got his 3rd base up and running, so that's something for him, but overall he's just still really far behind.
Yeah, at the very least, he's doing a good job of utilizing Vultures well. Cheap units, that pretty much the only thing he can get right now. He has to conserve everything else he has. We're going to be seeing the Arbiter Tribunal up on the way. And I really think that, I think with those Arbiters, as soon as they get some stasis going, maybe even one mass recall will be basically the last nail in the coffin. He can either go and push with his ground. Will be basically the last nail in the coffin. He can either go and push with his ground army, utilize stasis, or he could go for one massive recall, which would do absolutely irreparable economic damage. High Templar are going to be on the way as well, so I think actually we're probably going to be seeing the ground attack option alongside those Arbiters. Might even just push out as soon as he has the first Arbiter, never mind the spells, just go out there, utilize Cloak, utilize some High Templar, Storm Bombs. Has meanwhile his 5th base going, so he's in an absolutely beautiful economic position. HiyA still mining, well, yeah, from his Natural Expo and that 6 o'clock, but not anywhere else. Free, I still think, has some minerals and resources at every single one of his 5 bases. He's also going to be able to safely run towards the left side of the map at this point, go take the 9, then just completely surround HiyA by bases, getting his 2nd Stargate going instantly, so he's going to be able to get mass Arbiters out there. Is going to have that shuttle full of High Templar. Just as long as that doesn't get sniped, he's going to be, even if that does get sniped, I mean, it's not, the only thing it's going to do is act as another little small delay for HiyA to get back into this, but I don't think he's going to be able to get back into this because he's, as we're saying, he's running so far behind. He does have a significant tank number at this point, so he is going to maybe try to go for a push, but I just think Free has way too much. He's going to have Arbiters as well, and that's going to be a problem. Not quite sure he's going to have the spells when the attack comes, because it looks like they are both setting themselves up for one huge battle soon enough. Does have a lot of mines out there as well, but we're going to say I still don't think, with all those Zealots out there as well, I still don't think HiyA is going to be able to accomplish this, even if he manages to go for it. Even if he desperately tries to do something, those Zealots have weapons 1 ready and all. First Arbiter on the way, so we're probably going to be seeing the final battle, if you will, very soon.
Yeah, I mean, HiyA's kind of got a tiny, small window of opportunity before the Arbiters come that he can try and get a push out. I mean, if he waits and the Arbiters come out with spells, I mean, it's over. I don't even think Free's going to bother going for a recall, just because a recall that could theoretically go on top of mine, suddenly you lose 40 or 50 psi worth of units, and it just opens another small window that HiyA could try to exploit. So I don't think Free's going to go for a recall. I think he's just going to keep his contain on, hold him to 3 bases, and just really finish him off. I mean, recall could come if HiyA refuses to GG. That would be a case where I think we would see a recall, but I think otherwise, I think Free's just going to play it safe and go with the stasis route. And here comes HiyA pushing out. First Arbiter is out, and Free's got a whole lot of forces here, so he's going to be able to at least delay the push long enough to get his spells out. You can see him pushing back all of the Vultures essentially already, and here comes the High Templar in that shuttle. Huge storms going down all over the bridge, tons of tanks going down, but I think the Zealot numbers have run out, but the High Templars killed a bunch of tanks and damaged a bunch more, so there's a lot of damage forces in there for HiyA right now. And we see the Vultures streaming out, going to place down their minefields, going to try and pick off reinforcing High Templars, just try and keep that army power of Freeze down as well as he can, and open up a route for his tanks to get out, because he needs to do some damage here in some form. And unfortunately, what kind of sucks for HiyA is that the major mining bases for Free are in the top left and HiyA can't get there in any reasonable fashion, so he's gonna have to push towards the natural in the main. It just through how the map ended up, how the map was expanding. So he's gonna have to push to the top right, and I don't think, even if he's able to take down maybe the natural expansion or something, I don't think Free's gonna be too concerned, just because he's probably throwing down another half dozen gateways at the top left to be safe, and his macro is just gonna be kicking in hardcore. He's gonna have 2 more arbiters popping out in the next 30 seconds or so, and once they get stasis, once you get 3 arbiters with stasis, you know, you're talking about at that point probably 4 stasis, and that is just gonna be enough to take out pretty much 2/3 of the tanks of HiyA, and that should be that. And yeah, I think that we'll see the end of this game once the stasis finally gets complete.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate to always be talking doom and gloom for HiyA this entire last 7 or 8 minutes, but after that push, it's just been kind of downhill for him. He's had opportunities to do something to get back into this. I've seen positions like this gotten back from, but the players that did so, they weren't in as bad a position when it happened, and they
were playing
had
the
a
rock.
bigger force. Yeah, and there's that. But Free now on 6 bases to HiyA's 2 with only 1 mining one, which is actually not mining anymore. Stasis coming off, hitting a bunch of tanks, so Dragoons are going to be able to safely come up to the command center and pick it off. Armor upgrades on those before the Weapons 3 upgrades, interestingly enough. That's different, but still, HiyA, despite a slight tank presence at that natural expo, I think it's going to get cleared off now. 2 arbiters in position. Just getting right on top of those tank, actually stasis several of them, and this is going to allow the Zealots to come in very close, to get rolled out. Not a lot of mines there, but Storm's going to come off on top of the tanks. 2 Storms. They're going to pick off all of that, and yeah, Free's just going to be able to surround that and pick that off. But
Free Storms are great.
yeah, he's been doing an absolutely beautiful job. I still remember that first set where just a lot of screamage was done despite his loss. It was beautiful. But yeah, Free really seems like playing very solidly right now, despite kind of a meh start. He still played well this entire time. I'm not saying HiyA didn't. He definitely played well. The 4th set was an absolute gem to watch and commentate. But at this point, I feel he's just in a way too bad position. Has no mining going in. He's just delaying the GG. Just generally where you see what happens in the 5th set. He's going to go out there. He waits until his entire force gets picked off. He has some tanks. Trying desperately to micro them around. Has some sieged up. Some on siege. Getting some of these siege tanks. Stasis, more Storms coming off. Arbiters are the things that are fighting back the forces even at this point. And when you don't have enough forces on the ground, never mind Goliath, that you can now allow Arbiters to come in and pick off your units, you're in a doozy of a situation, my friend. It's just bad news for you to be an Arbiter here waiting at this o'clock. Oh, and SCV coming to build a base. 3 of them, in fact. No, actually, they could come in and distance mine. But just the position is just not this is not even a position. Yet another 2 there's Stasis, another Stasis come off, pick off 3 siege tanks, pick up 3 siege tanks or whatever you want to call it. Stasis 3 siege tanks. HiyA desperately tried to set up yet another position, instantly gets stormed as that happens, and HiyA just delaying at this point. Finally does GG. And Free HiyA, after getting 2-0 ahead, allows Free a comeback, and that guy cannot be more disappointed in himself, or Free cannot be more. Oh man, look at that face. That is just somebody who's desperately trying to keep just going over every single last moment through his mind and thinking where he went wrong. So yeah, GG guys. Damn.
Wow, yeah, that was pretty amazing. I mean, about the only thing I can think that HiyA could have done better was he went for the 5 factory push. I think maybe if his tanks had crawled just a little bit closer to start pecking at the rally point, I think that could have helped him, but and kind of made the counter push flank from Free to be more difficult. But other than that, I think that was just some great play by Free.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful game. Great set. The MSL, really, I've said this before, the MSL in the last quite a few seasons actually, has had a history of a magnificent round of 8 PvT. Not quite sure that the last season the Nate lived up to it quite as much, but the Lost Saga, the Avalon had absolutely great round of 8 PvT series, and so has the Hana Daetoo. And I don't know why this keeps happening, but sometimes there's always a Protoss and a Terran, no matter who those guys are, that end up facing off against each other in round of 8 of an MSL, and they end up bringing us absolute awesome StarCraft. So huge props to Deja V. Deja V? What the hell's wrong with me right now? My brain's melted. Sorry, dude. Huge thanks to Deja Vu for joining me today. It was fun. Privilege as always. So GG guys, Ranching out and Deja Vu out. And hope you join me for the semifinals.
See you guys. GG.
Later.